Yo. It's been a second, huh? How are we doing? Wait, oh, I keep forgetting I mounted the camera on here, and it... Oh my god. Hey, how are we doing, everybody? You made it early for once, yeah, only like after 3 months of not doing shit. Hey, everyone. Boy, some things have changed. It has been a wild last 3 months. Just, I guess, a bit of an update on everything. Because of Deficient Master's video and then another video that was on TikTok. Life's been crazy. So, I've been fulfilling orders like mad. Trying to get all this shit figured out, you know. Let's just say, get your flu shot this year. No, I've also... That's another reason why I haven't been making a lot of content. Man, I got sick after sick after sick after sick. I think, like, this fall, I've been... Like, I had to call into work at least, like, 7 days. That's crazy. Working in elementary school, yeah. But that's another kind of shift here into what all's been going on. I've actually been so busy with everything taking off with Land of the Blind. I've done this once before, so this made me a little bit terrified to do this again. I left teaching in order to just do full-time Land of the Blind work. And that means work over here on YouTube as well. So... We're back to full-time content creation, and a part of that is going to be, forgot how much of a cesspool schools are for sickness. Yeah, it wouldn't have been so bad had it not been elementary school. Elementary school got hit with just wave after wave of bug. It was wild. But all that being said, okay. So, what is this thing? I printed out a bunch of postcard-sized dungeons. I say a bunch of. I printed out a bunch of copies of this postcard-sized dungeon that I sent out with the first 500 books that we shipped. I had 500 copies of the postcard dungeon, so I'm assuming that that's how many got in there. But a little bit of background behind this one. Caustic Cave of Quasmoidon is like the first adventure I ever really wrote as an RPG like fan. Once I found out that like you can make your own content for games and everything like that for like TTRPGs, this is like in 2015 or something like that. I was like, okay, cool. I can make my own dungeon. What can I do with this? And I set out to make one, and the result was Caustic Cave of Quasmoidon. This has been, I think it was like 2015, 2016 that I actually made this. What this is now is, after years of writing adventures, writing content, doing, yeah, this is that old, yeah. I have refined it, and kind of experimented with it, toyed it, changed some things. And this is like, after all that time, this is me trying to get my like first dungeon turned into like a full-on starter adventure. This is supposed to be a one-shot. It's also supposed to be like deliver all the like expectations of like a fantasy adventure, like all in one boom, right? People are expecting to be like fighting dragons with these kinds of things. So I was trying to figure out, how can we get a bunch of like starter characters to fight a dragon? I wanted to also kind of hit a lot of the like weird puzzly shit that I absolutely love. This doesn't really totally get all the puzzly stuff. I've had to cut back on some of the things that were in here because I just don't think that they really worked after time. You know, you kind of start out with like your first adventure. If you went back and read through it, I'm sure like, oh, you're going to find all kinds of stuff that you're like, I don't know how I was really thinking this is supposed to work, you know? But this is, I saw an Instagram artist, Vault Crawler, and I was like, oh shit, I love this guy's stuff. He hits a lot of the like barge wizard or Wizard of the Barge style, like kind of crazy cartoony fantasy that I really love. So I hired him to do a full-on like cover. We're going to work on some more assets. He's also going to be finishing up Rook and the Crook in January. He's going to be doing a lot of the interior artwork for all that. I tried getting Alexi back on. Alexi just got so busy. Like, I guess apparently the Rook and the Crook was like such a big breakthrough for like the TTRPG scene for that artwork for him that he's just been like, I think he was even working on Knock. Like, he's done incredibly well. So he actually got a bit too busy for us to wrap up the entire adventure with him. But I contacted Vault Crawler. He said that he's good to go for this, so we're going to be working with Vault Crawler on some stuff. I think I was running Ghost Crest Peak and the players went into a nearby cave and said so he turned it into hey, killer. I think there's even like a little seed for that in the original like White Plume Mountain. There's like a Draco Lich that occupies the territory in like the northwest, or I think, I don't know, on the map it's in like the top left. So yeah, this totally slots in over there. That's a great idea. I hadn't thought about that. But as a part of this, what I'm going through is instead of it being a postcard dungeon with like, I was not a big fan of like, that was my hand-drawn map that I put on the postcard and all this other stuff. I contracted Felipe Salvatierra to come in and redo the map, and it looks fucking killer. I wanted to get, I wanted to bring this thing to life as like a full-on professional production for a zine. Yeah, there was a random cave on the map. Yeah. So a part of that is also going to be, whenever I've been running this, a lot of it I've been doing kind of off the cuff of like, oh, okay, well, this is what we need to do, a one shot for tonight. This is a story to slot it in. I'm going through and adding all of the different story beats I've ever run it with as hooks in here. Basically, this is starting from, I don't want to say the ground up. I have a really, really good leap on this one because I've already run this so many times, and now that I've kind of gotten to the point of, we have the map, we have everything, let's just get every thought that I had into writing here. Now, some of this is going to be, you're going to see me doing some formatting for like how I like to write adventures for zines. So if you have InDesign and you kind of want to follow along with that, feel free. Hopefully I'll teach you some tricks that like I've been doing over the years, and that'll help you out. I've also learned a lot about map and like zine formatting from guys like Johan Nohr. I love what they did with Rot Black Sludge in the Merkborg rulebook, and I try to do as much of that mini map kind of redirection as I possibly can. So you'll see some of that come up, and you'll see some of my techniques for how I do that. And yeah. So if there's any questions about anything, just ask in chat, and I try to answer it. If you have any questions about Vagabond fulfillment, I'll try to address that here right now. First off, core rulebook. London Pendragon has the final print version. They have that file. There were a couple people who submitted some like little typo fixes and everything from the file that went out last night. Those are fixed in the new print interior I sent them. With London Pendragon, they have a pretty quick turnaround, and I think they want to try and get it before Chinese New Year. So that means most likely I will have the wet proof in hand within a month, and then we will have everything basically ready to ship out most likely by mid-February. They have a pretty insanely fast turnaround with how quick they can get the stuff in hand. So we should be shipping out the second print run, which has, now we have 3 bookmark ribbons. This one is going to have better centering on the front cover. This one's going to have just a lot of typo fixes. Hopefully a bit more unification of terms across the book. Now that we've had this many people get it in hand, and we have questions come up about, hey, this might be a little bit confusing over here. This should be a way more cleaned up version of the rule set. As far as when it will be updated over on DriveThruRPG, I'm going to be getting them a file. They require a different type of print format than what London Pendragon requires, so I've got to make that separately. Hopefully that's going to be in their hands, ready for the proof within a week. And then once they get once they have that ready, I have to approve the first print proof. I'm going to get those ordered for the softcover and the hardcover and get them shipped to me like expedited shipping. That should be ready to go within a month. Now, what I will say is if you have ordered the print-on-demand version, some people have left some reviews and everything talking about the print quality. Yes, print-on-demand is not going to be as high a quality as what we're going to get with the offset print run. I also know we've had a lot of issues with trying to get it to certain countries. If you live in Spain or South America, we're having a lot of struggles actually getting the books in your hands. I have a print, like this is a return right here, like in hand. That was a return that got sent to me. That's from Spain. There was another one from Brazil. I know people in Argentina are even saying they're not even getting a shipping option. I've tried making contact to figure out what to do about these issues. I have not been able to get any word from USPS or UPS or FedEx about why these things are not actually getting to the door. I've tried making the calls. I don't know what's going on there. Other countries that I know that have had some issues, we can't ship to Israel right now. Don't know why. I have no idea. I don't know. I've gotten about 6 emails asking whether or not we can get the book over to Israel, or people saying that it's not allowing them to check out if they live in Israel. I don't know. That's out of my hands. Yeah, I don't know. We're just currently not allowed to ship to Israel. I don't know. Yeah, South America being silly with shipping, it can relate too hard. Yeah, I have tried. I mean, we've successfully sent some, but I will say the only ones that have ever been returned, like they did not fulfill from the whatever, have been from South America and Spain. That's the only times that we've really had hiccups with it. Just showing, will there be another Kickstarter? How do you get the second printing? No, actually, there's no Kickstarter. I don't like crowdfunding. I've only done it whenever it was really necessary. And this is just going to be, I'm paying for the overhead right out of my pocket. And those are going to be available to you as soon as I get them here. Like, literally, we have over 300 or 400 print orders right now for the core rulebook that are all on hold. I'm actually ordering in 1,500 copies of the new rulebook, or the updated, like, fixed format rulebook. So the second print wave, I got enough to fulfill all the orders, and then 1,000 to have on hand. Some of this is also going to be, with this print run, I am going to be talking to different distributors. I've been trying to, but everyone's had holiday stuff going on, and it's been kind of difficult there. 3 of the people I've spoken with, I guess I can kind of say who I've talked to, and it hopefully won't hurt anything. Don't go harass these guys or anything like that. Don't go pressure them, anything, because you might wind up hurting this. But I've talked with, because people know international has been a headache. I've talked with Plus One XP. I talked with them at PAX. I talked with Exalted Funeral, and we're going to talk after the holidays and everything like that. And then the other one, which is really interesting, I don't know that they'll bite because there's a competing thing that they kind of have as their mainstay, but it could be really cool, is Goodman Games. If Goodman bites, that's massive. Goodman has like Barnes and Noble distribution. They have so many things going for them. And we're gonna see. We're gonna see what happens. But if Goodman Games gets it, that is mainstay, like that is main retail distribution, which is crazy. There are stores that have already hit me up, and I've already shipped out a bunch of books to like Philadelphia. There was like a friendly local game store that asked to get it. Sent them like, I think it was like 6 copies, and then they just hit me up again like a month ago, like, we need to get 10. Deficient's video fucking blew up. It is crazy how much good that video has done for this game. So not only are we getting a second print run, it's going to be improved. This is going to be the kind of rulebook that I would have loved to have had in hand, that I wish we could have done originally from the get-go with it, but like things just got too expensive. But this is going to be, oh man, I can't wait. Oh, well, there's Mimic's Market right now. Hey, you'll be using Vagabond for your shop's West Marches campaign? Hell yeah. Yeah, that's Mimic's Market. You guys are based out of Philadelphia, right? Or Pennsylvania, but not specifically Philadelphia, right? For those of you all that are in the Pennsylvania area, they're stocking Vagabond. It's been crazy, though. I've gotten orders from Ireland, from Saudi Arabia. Like, I mean, it's been wild. Pittsburgh. Oh, okay. You're so glad you sent a pre-order last night. If you got the print-on-demand version, hold up. If you got the print-on-demand version, wait a second. The second print wave, though, if you're ordering from Land of the Blind, that will be coming to you as the second print run. These are, I'm so stoked with how these are going to be. But yeah, I don't want to do a crowdfunding campaign. I want this to just be where we got the money on hand to not worry about doing any kind of crowdfunding. Let's just do it, you know? Plus, that way, Kickstarter's not eating like 8 to 10% of anything that we make over there, which was, yeah. I say 8 to 10%. We made, I want to say on one of the campaigns, we made like, there was about like 30K, and I only received about like 25 of that. But yeah. There's also other issues going into that. POD arrived in Eastern Europe without issues. Your work is... thank you so much, Galactic Bear. The Foundry implementation is very good. The community is on fire right now. Yeah, I personally don't use Foundry. I just haven't really had a need to like open it up and everything. But I have seen like Gus and a bunch of other people doing a lot of crazy work to get that thing going. It's also working over on Albert Rodeo. And Alchemy is working on the implementation right now. You did the pre-order straight from the Land of the Blind website. Okay, then yeah. The other thing with that is I've gotten a lot of emails about this, and I figured out what was wrong about it, and it just wasn't really clear with what was going on with Shopify's UI. So if you did a pre-order and that your order is showing that like, oh, it should have fulfilled and it should have been delivered or anything like that, that is actually an automated thing that Shopify and the shop app actually do. That is not the fulfillment coming from me. Until you get a tracking number, we haven't shipped it yet. That shipping date that's on there is something that they do automatically. So to anybody that's like, hey, I showed that this is supposed to be delivered, yada, 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 your order should now be marked as on hold, not fulfilling. I don't know if it's going to automatically update over there for like an estimated delivery date, but you will get a tracking number whenever we fulfill it. That is, yeah. Anything that's coming on that end is like estimated shipping dates from Shopify, because it doesn't seem like their website works really well with pre-order models. It's very strange. Order through Land of the Blind to get the second run. Yes. I've talked with DriveThruRPG. They are interested in helping me sell the offset print run, the one that we're doing through London Pendragon. They're interested in helping me sell through their web store, like sell that through their web store, not just a print on demand. If we do that, there's a really good chance that we can open up to the worldwide fulfillment using them as a distributor. But I'm going to have a talk with Jack and Meredith about that after the holiday season to see what we can get opened up. If that's the case, we're talking about cheaper shipping rates for the really, really nice book for Europe, for the whole EU. I mean, you know, the whole EU, the whole UK, Australia is going to be getting cheaper shipping, which to everyone in Australia and New Zealand, I am so sorry if you try to order literally anything from America. That sucks. That just sucks. And I don't know about South America. This is going to be a thing that we'll talk about. But if you are over in the EU and you're looking at some of the shipping rates and you're like, God, this looks atrocious, I hear ya. Unfortunately, that's the state of the world right now. I'm working on ways to get it reduced down for you, but it's going to take a little bit of time. If we get this all worked out, everything should be golden. And you guys should be seeing, like, you don't have to worry about VAT, you don't have to worry about XYZ thing. Like, it should be pretty good. It's just going to take a little bit of time to work these things out. Let's redefine that. There we go. I like that better. That spacing better right there. Now, your friend recently got his physical copy. Hell yeah. Is there any interest in a limited edition cover? If Goodman picks it up, I think that's a requirement. I would be down for that. I would be down to do something like that. There is an artist who I would love to get on board for that. I don't know if this is possible, though. Because I think this guy is pretty locked up. Oh. God, if only. If only. Wizard of Barge would be sick to get on board. But I think part of his whole deal, he is locked in with Wizards of the Coast right now. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure they're going to be at Gamma Expo this year. That's the one con we attend. Have kids, I can't make it. Oh, yeah. The art for Vagabond is 10 out of 10. Thank you. God, I would love to get Wizard of Barge. But, I mean, he does so much shit exclusively with Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons right now. I don't know. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying I have no idea. God, I mean, that's where the shirt came from. Like, hang on, let me find. Yeah, I've got this water bottle right here. I love so much of his style. It would vibe and hit so fucking hard for Vagabond. But yeah, it's I don't know. I'm trying to think of some other people that would be sick to get on board for that, for like an alt cover. I mean, Alexi would be awesome. Oh, Apollo's snoring. You could contact KoboldCon. They specialize in selling indie and alt TTRPG books. Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that things work out with Plus One XP or Goodman Games. Either would be sick, or Exalted Funeral. They all seem to have it all figured out. But for me, like, the only... Like, here's the big deal. Vagabond has been completely fulfilled out of my house. Like, shipping trucks showing up, pallets arriving, me trying to figure out how the hell to get stuff out. Yeah, it's all been fulfilled out of my house. That's why some people have been like, well, shipping seems to be taking a little bit. Yeah, we got hit with a shitload of orders. I know that this is a lot for me to try and tackle out of the house now, and I'm pretty sure my landlord would be like, what's happening here? So I'm trying to figure out what to do about that. The other annoying thing with this is that I can't get UPS to come and pick up packages from my house. You have to have like a commercial address for that. Like, they'll come and pick one up from your home, but they won't pick up like 50, right? So I've had to load up all this shit into my car, take it to a UPS center to go and get it shipped. Like, it has been a chore. Yeah. Okay. So, you could use the Artist of Vagabond, the manga. You're sorry for the pun. Don't want to confuse people even more. Okay, so we need to do a couple things here. What I'm currently looking at is where this map is sitting. Needs to move over probably about here. Dungeon, I would like the areas to be sitting on the same page as the map. So we have a couple options here. We can drag this up and make a separate map up here for just the entry. Probably like entry and then area 2. And then... hang on. We'll do that. Make this bigger. Because what I'm trying to do... I want it to take up the whole page. Well, not the whole page, but I want it to take up this chunk. Oh, that's going to be the tricky thing here. Can move you here. Get a more vertical. Okay, then let's do minimap. I think he's growling. I think he's growling in his sleep. We'll do this, bring you down. Okay, now that we have this, okay. That gets these two. It does put the map here. I can get the map right up here. The thing I'm kind of wanting to do at this point, though, with this area is add in something that isn't just a exploration challenge. One of the things from the last time I ran this that I kind of noticed was it felt like it took a second for things to kind of heat up. It did take a second for the players to click in and have something that felt like, ooh, we're dungeoneering now. And I would like to add something in here as more of a regular guardian. We'll do that. They don't really need the whole breadth of that outside area. Okay. Pre-order for Christmas. This is the best fantasy RPG you've ever played. Shit, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. I was trying to set out to make the game I always wanted to play. Ignore text wrap. There we go. Okay, so that gets us the map right there. And then we should have something to go in that's like a stat block right here. We have different things that we can say. We can add in over here from the room descriptions. We got that. Let me see. Right, and we just have two maps over here. We'll condense this down. Once we figure out what areas are going to go on what page. So we need to fill this out. We'll probably get on that today. I need to figure out something to throw in here. General characteristics could probably go over here. Is that... oh, damn it. Okay. Can I just move you up here and we'll just make this a regular header? Yeah, that's spanning. East, but then that gets us 3. Okay. Now, this is looking a little bit empty, so we'll need to figure out something for this. The effect of I guess I should give you guys a bit of the introduction for what this cave is and kind of how it's changed ever since I did the postcard dungeon. So the postcard dungeon was a really, really reduced version of this. I wanted to make something that I could send out, fit on a postcard, and it wasn't like a huge ordeal to like print a big, huge mess of them. With zines, it's always a little bit more. I mean, working with Nixon has been awesome. Like, they've been great, but it takes a bit more than just printing out a bunch of postcards. So, whenever I did the postcard version of it, I had to cut back on a lot of the material that was inside just to make sure it all fit on there, and condense some of the areas. And now I've been able to spread that out a little bit more and expand on the idea. So some of this is going to be me kind of filling that in, but also, like, from what you saw with Wet Dreams, this is going to be something similar to that, where we fill in everything a little bit more. Factions are going to be fleshed out. I actually need to throw in the... there we go. Ankh eggs. Okay. I guess, yeah, Kobolds of Kaz. Sure. I feel that Vagabond is a good starter for people interested in TTRPGs, and honestly, the simplicity it has allows the TMs to flesh out their own world rather than what happens to D&D. Hey, I appreciate that. Yeah, I actually ran it for Brooke while we were at PAX. I actually got to throw a shout out here. The guys who made PAX possible for me and a bunch of other creators, it's a group, they're kind of a newer thing called The Banished. It's a lot of TikTok creators at the moment, but like they're also spreading out to try and talk to like more YouTubers and everything. In case you all didn't know, going to conventions can be really stupidly expensive, and like part of it's not even the fact of like just getting there or attending the convention. It's usually like the room and board and all this other shit. And The Banished is a group that got started up by a guy named Sloan Running. He's over on TikTok. And Sloan just had this idea to try and get more creators out to a bunch of different conventions. He wanted to help creators fund the things that they wanted to make. And The Banished is an organization that kind of does that. And it's a really cool idea that is mostly just funded by grassroots, like merch and like just regular support of you going and donating because you think what they do is really cool. But Sloan gave me a call and asked if I wanted to go because he liked the shit that I was doing on YouTube, and we met up at Gen Con and just totally hit it off. So I was like, hell yeah, I'll go to PAX. You kidding me? So I was able to go and hang with some really cool people. Stephanie Plays Games was also there, and Nagobi. I mean, it was sick. And I got to know a lot of the TikTok side of the D&D scene. And wow, what I have learned from like what all they've got going on over there, TTRPGs, like over on, if you're looking at more of like breaking away from D&D and like maybe even looking at OSR stuff, maybe looking at, whatever else is out there, TikTok actually has a really welcoming and open-minded scene for that. It seems like a lot of the TikTokers are really interested in checking out other games that aren't just D&D, whereas I think on YouTube, because we're chasing the algorithm so much, we're only really talking about D&D. It's very, hey, what up, Deficient? What's going on, brother? The man who made all this shit possible. You regret missing out on PAX? Dude, it was a blast. I had a lot of fun. It was it was just a whole other kind of vibe. It did have the Gen Con kind of like, I mean, Gen Con just feels like so much more of a business and networking thing. But over at like PAX, it at least kind of felt like it was more of a convention. It felt like it was more of the like, hey, people are here to play games, but also like, yeah, we want to go here to spend some money for sure. Whereas Gen Con just kind of felt like, oh, there's some stuff on the floor, but like everyone's really here to just go and shake hands. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I don't know. PAX felt like more of a party. Like, it was super fun. Philly as a city fucking sucks, so I'll tell you that much. D&D TikTok or D&D Talk is where it's at. Man, the people over there are really cool. I really dug it. And it seems like a lot of the people over there, it's not like a big marketing chase, which I feel is like a lot of what like YouTube has sort of become. It feels like because it's more short forms, sure, some people are throwing out like product shout outs and things like that, but people are like just making, I don't know, dumb videos over there, which is great. We need more dumb videos happening on D&D YouTube, and we don't really get that, you know, except for mine. Mine are fucking stupid. Like, I think TikTok and Instagram are kind of in the like YouTube 2014 era, you know, like 2012 to 2014 era. And a lot of the creators that are over there, it's like, boy, if I were to make a video on my YouTube channel that wasn't D&D content, like, or like just Dungeon Tube content, I could not expect it to go well. I couldn't. And in fact, it's like YouTube actively disincentivizes you from pivoting to anything else. However, over there, it's like, I mean, one of the guys I met, Frecky the Wolf, Frecky makes D&D content, sure, but like, I mean, half of his content is also him talking, like, him trying to, like, flirt with his manager over the CB radio, or like just sending truckers random fucking messages over on the radio. It's so funny. But like, that doesn't really hurt them in the algorithm, you know? Like, it doesn't really hurt their viewability, and I think it's also the fact that there's so many people making stuff over there that if they only subscribe to you for one thing, they're kind of using the platform wrong, if that makes sense, you know? There's so many people doing so many different things that if you're kind of looking at TikTok for more than just, oh, here's a bunch of guys making goofy ha-has, then you're kind of there for the wrong reason. Whereas YouTube is a lot more focused. I think, you know, different strokes for different folks and all that. But TikTok seems to be more of the like, hey, if you want a little bit of chaos to your content, this is kind of the place to go. Now, I still don't really use TikTok all that much. And I'm sure there's plenty of people that would disagree with me. But yeah, like, as far as from the outside looking in, that it feels a bit more like good mischief. I don't know. TikTok seems like a better environment for a creator to experiment new ideas / overlapping interests. Yeah. Like, I mean, you know how many times I thought about, like, I wanted to do, like, music content over here. But I'm always like, God, if I do something that isn't, like, dungeon synth or fantasy music, people are gonna lose their minds and be all pissed off about my channel. However, over on TikTok, it's like, who cares? Like, just do what you want to do. My Instagram is just basically me uploading, like, me building out my dream pedal board. Like, that's it. You know? You're definitely chasing the algorithm over there, too. I'm sure there is a chase. I'm just saying that, like, it seems like the chase is less of a, if I don't do this, I will never grow. How do I put it? I mean, like, Deficient's here, he can tell you. Like, here on YouTube, you are terrified to the point of just basically never doing it in terms of breaking out and doing other content with the channel. Because, like, if you do and you pivot on your platform, it feels like a huge, like, YouTube is going to suppress you. However, over on TikTok, it seems like the audience is more open to, hey, this guy's going to do some random ass video right now that I have no idea what it would be. And that seems fine, you know? Oh, some people might see this and wonder why the hell I've got text out here outside of the frame, and totally off the page. If you look at these right here, these tabs, these are all a running header. Or sorry, it's a, god damn it, what's it called? It is a text variable. This is like a little special marker that will reproduce the text from somewhere else in the file. So in this case, this is a text variable that says reproduce the last time I used this header right here. However, because I don't necessarily want it to always pick up this header, like where it says introduction right here, Caustic Cave of Quasmoidon, whatever, I'll have it keying off to go and grab whatever's over here. So later on, whenever I do like stat blocks and it says like bestiary, yeah. So it'll grab that instead, where is that? You see me do this multiple times in the Vagabond core rulebook. This needs to grab this over here. We do boom. Okay. YouTube seems to get confused when you try different or adjacent subject. One reason why a lot of creators on YouTube will do multiple channels. Yeah. Yep. Even like the style of video can throw people for a loop. I saw where like people were commenting that like Charlie Moist Critical just did a video where it wasn't just him staring at the camera going like, all right, so in other words, this guy's like a big poopy vagina. Like he had editing in it, and the editing like threw people off. And you can see in the comments people were like, what's going on? What's wrong? And yeah. You feel like TikTok had the chance to get one viral vid a grow from there? Wait, you feel like TikTok had the chance to get one viral vid a grow from there? I'm looking at my keyboard thinking like what that could... A year? To and grow from. Maybe. I mean, I don't totally know. I haven't super tested this out. But I do like the environment that is kind of cultivating over there. And I don't really like the environment kind of happening on YouTube at the moment. Like, this is another thing, a part of why, like, there's been so many different things that have led into, like, why I need to take a little bit of a break or a hiatus from content creation. A part of it has been the YouTube chase is just fucking not my bag, man. Like, yeah. You're telling me when I open the book, there's going to be text flooding on my table? Yes, that's exactly what I mean. New hologram technology. Heard an interesting piece of YouTube advice where you need to treat your YouTube channel like a TV channel, predictable content surrounding its certain interests, History Channel, Food Network, etc. Yeah. This is like, okay, I'm going to use a little music analogy here. Like, yeah. So a lot of people for years kind of just thought that John Mayer was this pop, like, singer-songwriter kind of guy. John Mayer is like, he's kind of a victim of what the record companies were always telling him to do. John Mayer has kind of he's kind of built up this public image around himself as like the sentimental, like, singer-songwriter guy, but that wasn't what he always wanted to do. In fact, a lot of people don't, they kind of look at John Mayer and they're like, well, he's got a guitar, but like, is he not just like Ed Sheeran? Like, he played whatever. John Mayer is actually one of the best rock guys out there right now. He is a legitimately crazy good blues player. However, people know him as like the Your Body is a Wonderland guy, or Daughters, or I don't know, whatever, whatever you're kind of thinking of there, right? So the record companies were constantly telling him, you need to do this instead, you need to do this instead, and he wasn't really happy with where he was as a performer. And he was really tired of the image that kind of built up around him for like, these are the songs that they really want me to play. I know this is like kind of a tropey, you know, singer-songwriter story, but stick with me here. So John Mayer broke out from all that once he had enough money and decided he was going to do a trio tour. And this was like the moment that he went from like, all right, well, he's this singer-songwriter guy, into, oh, wait, suddenly the guitar scene was looking at this guy being like, this dude knows tone like so well. This dude just, he's got a guitar sound unlike anybody else. Like, what the hell is this? Loved him showing off his range on the Chappelle Show skit. Yes. Oh, that was so good. But like now guitar players, like legit guitar players are like, whoa, wait, like this is that dude? This is the bubblegum pop dude? What happened? You know, and yeah, like to this day, a lot of the guys, if you see that they have, it's like two certain pedals that they usually have on their board, maybe three. If they have a tube screamer going into a Klon Centaur, most likely they're trying to emulate John Mayer's tone. Like, I mean, the dude is so well known for his tone. People like take pictures of his board setup to try and perfectly emulate and figure out the settings. Like, the guy is an insanely strong guitar player. But again, if he had just stuck with all I'm going to do is the stuff that is, you know, the record companies are telling me, okay, this is what's going to make me successful, he wouldn't have made anything that was like personally, like intellectually fulfilling, you know, like that. It would have eventually stuck around with like, I've got to be this pop singer-songwriter guy, and that's all the record company wants. I'm actually going to move this back over here and try something else out. Like, for us to make content that we really want to make here on YouTube or whatever, it starts out with this thought of like, I really do want to make this stuff. This is what, like, I think there's an audience for this. All right, cool. Now, are you happy and intellectually stimulated making that stuff? You know, that intellectual stimulation means a lot. You will be more personally fulfilled if you continue making stuff that keeps you happy. And like, this thought of how to pivot is like, I don't know. I haven't seen too many people really do that and pull it off in the YouTube sphere really well. I'm really struggling actually to think of one. Someday you'll get a microphone and become a Vagabond YouTuber. Hell yeah. I was gonna say fucking Filthy Frank, but he didn't pivot his YouTube channel. He just like straight up became a pop star. He just straight up was like, nah, none of that anymore. I'm done with that. And I'm just gonna go sell a fucking billion records now. What a wild career change. Seriously though, is there someone who like so drastically changed the content they made and they were successful at doing it? They actually pulled off the pivot. Or they were like better off for it. Oh, I know that there's got to be someone like that. I was gonna say Meat Canyon, but he still makes his animations on the Meat Canyon channel and does the Papa Meat stuff on a separate channel, so that's just kind of further proves what Deficient was saying earlier. Wait, yeah, that does look better. That looks way better. Oh, the optical border correction. Welcome back to the best monsters in Vagabond, silly little flying eye. There's an Asian guy who became a soldier, doctor, and astronaut. What the shit? Anthony Padilla? I know I've heard that name. What does he do? The emo from Smosh? You're gonna have to be more descriptive than that. You're this close to starting a second channel for board game stuff, because nobody on YouTube has made an actual pivot after they found their moneymaker style/topic. Yeah, like that's the rough thing. Like, you build up a platform that does all this, and then you pivot, and then suddenly you don't have the viewership that the sub count says you should, and that sucks. Like, what do you do there? I'm gonna say. Here, wait, actually this needs to not be this. keyword. I just saw it. Yep. No, wait. There we go. Ordinary sausage now also boils steak and makes waffles. True. And it's actually better content. No. God, I used to fucking quote his channel all the time, and I haven't in like a good year. He lists Mosh, made his own channel doing comedy for a while until he started a series interviewing people from different walks of life. Oh, yeah. Okay, I've seen clips of that. Yeah, I'm not, like, familiar with it, but... yeah. Why is this doing that? Auto. How weird. Okay. Are you gonna fit down here? That would be sick if you could. Nope. What can we do here? I think... we need to insert a little bit more to try and make this all work out. I'm just trying to get it to where the map is on the same page as the information for the room. You think Anthony eventually returned to Smosh and they got the company back? Well, that's... oh, there's also, like... I mean, I have never watched a goddamn FaZe video ever, but I'm seeing all these people freak the fuck out about that company selling. I'm like, yeah, that's just... YouTube feels like... it feels like the inevitable end of any of these creative endeavors is always to, like, sell it somehow. And, I don't know. You're converting Dark Sun and Planescape 2E to try and run as Vagabond. One of your groups has been interested in both for a little while. They're scared of the rules. I think Vagabond would be perfect to bridge the gap. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, I know that there's another project that does, like, Dark Sun and Shadowdark. But, yeah, I mean, if you were just looking for a jumping off point for something that's more OSR and, like, the stat blocks kind of click, you know? He's back on Smosh, still has his own channel that's mostly interviews with creators, still nobody I know, and there's a big pivot within their original YouTube channel. Yeah, like, imagine what would happen. Like, here's one of Professor Dungeon Master's videos here recently. He was talking about this, where, like, he gets so many people that complain about the fact that he reports on TTRPG industry news or whatever, and yet, like, whenever he does something else, people don't watch the videos. And it's like, what do they expect him to continue to make? The stuff that people watch? Or the stuff that he finds intellectually stimulating? Which is, like, him making terrain and everything. And he, like, recently did a terrain video and just proved the point. Like, nobody watched it. You know? And it's like, well, you could say one of them's either, like, I'm going for the click, or the other one is that, like, maybe the audience is just, like, so hardwired for drama right now. You know? Like, I think that part of it is we do have a bit of an audience problem. Not you watching, you're perfect. But, like, you know, we have a growing issue of, that's, like, all people are really wanting to watch is the WotC hate slop. And, like, you know, I'm saying that as somebody that fell into that loop of, like, well, that's what the people are watching right now, so I guess I've got to report on the news and everything. Like, everyone has a raging hate boner for WotC. Look, the thing that I've learned is that that's not just unique to Wizards of the Coast. That's just, like, the general internet overall. Like, you have so few people that are actually watching content to, like, hey, this is a thing I want to see if I'll like. And instead, they're watching stuff to be like, I want to find the next thing to be angry about. And I'm like, what do we do to fix that? You know? What do we do to, like, actually curve that for the RPG scene? the people crave an updated live play of Vagabond. Maybe you're back full time, so maybe. About that. So part of PAX was talking with some of these TikTok people, and they really want to play a live play of Vagabond. That's a thing that we have discussed. So that's a thing that I do want to work out. Because I'll be straight up. Number one, the guys that were in this scene, I just totally vibe with, and I think I'd have a shitload of fun running it with them. But number two, it also just brings some like new blood kind of over here to the channel, and yeah. So that is the thing I would like to do. I would like to do that at some point, but I want to also edit it down. Actually, Deficient, this would be a sick thing to try and throw to Skylar, because I would love to see what Skylar would do to actually make an actual play interesting for a YouTube video. A lot of you guys know, because I've said this like on streams and everything in the past, I feel as though the majority of actual play content is completely unwatchable. The only people that I feel like have really capitalized on it and made it like interesting, sorry, my contact is like, feels like it wants to fold up in my eye, are like Mystery Quest and like Legends of Ventress. Like because honestly, like with Legends of Ventress, you're not really seeing them play much D&D. They're just kind of like around a table, like improving, and the group is that goddamn funny that like it makes for great clips. But in all reality, whenever you see the clips of it, it's like, how much D&D is really getting played in that moment? Not a whole lot. It's a bunch of buddies that are just kind of making dick jokes, and it's great. Like it's great for that. But in all reality, they're not really demoing a system. It's you're watching a bunch of personalities play a game, and that's great. It's great. It works for them really, really well. I think that we need to have a bit of levity like that in the scene. And they're hilarious, and they're drawing people in who would otherwise be bored as shit watching an actual play. I don't know that there's too many people, like, I keep hearing the thing of like Critical Role is kind of suffering from its own success, and the fact that they just have that many episodes out right now. So people are a little bit like worried to try and like get in on it, you have to reduce the LARPing if it's a product showcase. Yeah, like I need to get in with people who they want to play the game, and they're not trying to like use it as like a demo reel for a casting thing, You like XP to Level 3's highly edited reality show S style for his Dungeon Delve series, where they do dungeon crawl one-shots experimenting with a new mechanic each time. Yeah, that's sick. I haven't watched it, but like I like the idea. I thought it would be really funny to do like one-shots of like Merkborg as like heavy meat grinder of just like kill everybody, because I don't know, it's goofy and funny. I thought that would be a lot of fun. I just never got around to doing it. Oh wait, no, we did get around to planning this at one point. And who was it? I had one planned, and I had a guest on there, Trevor Henderson. He agreed to come on and do one, and I was like, this is going to be sick. But there was somebody else who was involved with it who, oh my god, what happened with that? I feel like there was somebody else involved with it who like there was a public little fiasco with it, and I don't remember what happened. Oh my god, I am completely blanking on that. But yeah, there was one that I had planned to do like that, and we just decided to nix it. Over some kind of like Twitter spat that happened or something. I was like, okay. And it wasn't Trevor Henderson. Good God, what was that? I don't know. I wish I could remember. But yeah, just add it to the list of fucking projects that couldn't manifest. Definitely heavily cut snippets is the way to go. Then it's like the game itself is what's making the people watch, or just a background setting. It makes the creator. Yeah, exactly. Legend of Adventure's crew is going to be the same whether they're playing Vagabond or Pathfinder. Yep. Hey, what up, Crow? Yeah, I am finally getting one of my dungeons I wrote a long time ago into full-on zine format. Yeah, this needs to go south. How you been, man? God, I don't think I've talked to you since PAX. Okay. Acid pool or tunnel goes back to 2. I do these all as cross-references because it allows it to hyperlink. Boop, do that. And then whenever people click on it, it takes them over here to this. Yeah. You would say, yeah, no, yeah, right? Like, we've had, like, not a lot of, like, real conversations on Discord or anything, but we just keep fucking, like, sending stupid shit on Instagram to each other. Dude, my new favorite one is that guy who brings the boombox into a bunch of these haunted, like, he goes to the, hang on, let me just find one of his videos. This dude is awesome. It's like Noah versus Paranormal. Dude, this is Noah Bruce. Okay. Spirits! Hang on. Let me find. Okay, hang on. This might be a little bit loud. Yeah. All right, here you guys go. New fucking favorite Instagram channel. Holy shit.
It's time! Can you show me a little bit of that Christmas spirit?
Dude, this guy's channel is awesome. Where's the, like, oh my god, where's the Paramore one? No, it's Rihanna. Holy shit. Yeah, and this guy's whole thing is just going to, like, haunted places and blasting music. Where is he? I think he's in Colorado. He's actually throwing a ghost rave, or like a haunted rave, in January. And, like, everybody is going through this old, like, hotel and brothel and just, like, raving in this haunted ass fucking old hotel. It's so great. Oh, Christ. Where is this? There was one, I think it was one I sent you, Crow, but it was like him doing, oh god. Oh, here you go. Well, yeah, and then this one won't get copyright struck because, fucking Kendrick put it out public.
Spirits! Let's go!
I see dead people.
Whoa. Is there somebody in here with me? I thought I just saw someone in the freaking window. Dude, I thought I just saw someone in the window, dude! What the fuck? We've got to lock in. Oh my land. Spirits, let's go! Certified pedophile!
I'ma do my stuff. Why you trolling like a bitch? Ain't you tired? Trying to strike a chord and it's probably A minor.
We call him Jeff Starn! Let's go!
Dude, like, this guy is a goddamn... This is what I mean, like, why I like what Instagram and, like, TikTok have going on right now, is, like, it just feels like old school YouTube in a way. And I love it. Sure, you're gonna have your corporate kind of vibe and whatever, but, like, god damn it, I love whenever people just do random shit like that. It's so good. Almost imagine the demons living in the house singing along to Mariah Carey. Yeah. So this is gonna start to a Dan-to-Dan spinoff. He's gonna encounter a real ghost. Yeah, or aliens. Like, that's the next thing. Someone's got to go to like a really popular abduction site and like try to like summon the aliens to come party. God damn. Yeah, look up Noah vs. Paranormal. That guy's so fucking funny. But yeah, me and Crow have been sending that shit back and forth on Instagram. It's so good. I forgot there was a secret in this one area. I don't know if that's really the best place to put it though, but like it's fine. I mean, if they jump that far ahead, there we go. What do I... Okay. Recentering here. What do I gotta put here? Ceiling. So this is gonna be where some rubble is caved in. Right. 30 feet in the air. North side. Was that pre-pandemic? Well, that those videos? No, that guy was doing that. Wait, was that pre-pandemic? Oh wait, the Area 51 raid? I think that was that same year, yeah, 2019. You recently started to get into turn-based JRPGs and it has taken over your brain. You have way too many TTRPG ideas now. Dude, I will say, I was like not even remotely interested in playing another turn-based RPG. In fact, I try to play some like Final Fantasy whenever I can. Just because like, God, I grew up with the series and it means so much to me, but like, I've got to admit at this point, it's kind of fucking unplayable because turn-based combat is just so rough. As in, like, I just get bored with it. However, I did this month pick up and actually play Clair Obscur. And that game is holy shit. It made me, from playing that, it made me figure out what my problem has been with Final Fantasy for like 15 years. You heard its peak. It is, yes, it is one of the best, it is the best turn-based RPG I've ever played. My brother also played Baldur's Gate 3 after years of being a contrarian about it. I'm not a contrarian about Baldur's Gate 3. I just haven't had the time to do it. Like, that's it. As far as Clair Obscur goes, I was trying to find the time, and whenever it won the Game Awards, I was like, all right, let me see what's going on with this thing. And holy shit, that game is good. You can tell that it's made by somebody who has had similar issues with turn-based RPGs, but clearly fucking love them. You picked up Final Fantasy X recently on Steam, but you've been too busy being consumed by Persona 5. That's another one I really need to play. I still haven't played Persona through yet. Expedition 33 is cool and all, but Super Mario Bros. Superstar Saga did it first. But was it as pretty? You know, like, I honestly think the reason why Clair Obscur is hit for me, really, it is a part of the reason why I also think Vagabond has clicked for a lot of people. And that is the fact of, it gives you something to actually do while the enemies are doing stuff, you know? You don't really feel the lull in the game, and you're not really waiting around while the enemies are going, and you just have other shit to, you know what I mean? And I think Clair Obscur is hit because, like, I mean, sure, the story is, I am really trying to think if there, wait, did I ever play Tactical Breach Wizards? No, I haven't. I'm trying to think of another game that had a story that was anywhere close to as good as what Clair Obscure's story was. Elden Rings is way up there. Final Fantasy VII's is way up there. Even Final Fantasy X's is way up there. Is there another game that came along and like had as good of a story as Clair Obscure? Silk Song? Have I seen the sprite work? No, I haven't. Nuh-uh. You gotta line up with JRPGs you gotta play once you finish Persona 5. You also picked up Metaphor ReFantazio. Oh yeah, I remember that. The Sims 4 is a okay, that's gonna be now. Do I mind if I go to that pit early? No, not necessarily. You also got to kind of design the dungeon in a way to where they can't really break it, like by skipping around. The presentation of the story is very well done too. The voice acting is really solid in E33. Yeah, the voice acting is fantastic. There's been a few points where like it's done a bit of the cheese of like, oh, you know, whenever I hear anybody go like, oh, Verso, I'm like, what? Like, nobody talks like that. Okay, I'm not going to spoil Stranger Things, but there was a moment, like, I have loved everything about the new season, except there was a moment in the last episode where, I'm not spoiling anything. No, there would be a spoiler in that. Okay. Will turns to another character, and I cringe every fucking time anyone does this in a movie, in a video game, whatever. They turn to someone and they just go, oh, Laura. Like, oh, Sam. I hear that and I'm just like, what? Nobody does that. It's like someone says something and they go, oh, Eugene. Like, oh, God. And whenever I hear that, I'm immediately taken out and I'm just like, come on now. Nobody talks this way. What are you doing? That's not like a response. That's not like what the fuck? But I guess like with Stranger Things, the 80s camp is like kind of part of it. So I'm like, okay, maybe you get away with that. I don't know. I will say though, as someone who has loved Stranger Things, who was watching it back whenever, here, I'll make you feel really old. Stranger Things started during the Obama administration. As someone who loves Stranger Things though, I have genuinely loved this last season. I'm not going to spoil anything. Nobody say anything in the chat. It has been very, very fucking good. Very, very fucking good. Yeah. Oh, Taron. Yeah, no, it's like, I don't... You actually know someone who would do that? Have they had like their frontal lobe fucking removed? Like, what? Who does that? Who talks like that? The real way to call someone is to yell their name from across the street. Yeah, well, and no, it's like somebody says something that you're like, you're almost just kind of like, oh, his catchphrase, haha, you know, and you kind of get it, right? But it's like, who it's like, oh, well, Daenerys Targaryen is burning down the entire fucking, you know, King's Landing, and then you go, oh, Daenerys. Like, who fucking responds like that? That's not a thing. Nobody does that. Yeah, it sounds like a stage performance. Yeah. That type of response only exists in movies. So the moment someone does it, I'm like, yeah, insert a laugh track. Yeah, right? It's like there might as well have been a fucking laugh track. Or like oh, God, here we go. Yeah, it's like someone does that, you hear the laugh track, and then, here. And then this kicks on. It was okay, anyways. Yeah, that's what I mean, right? It's like I don't really feel like I'm watching people interact, and instead it's like it's so much the stage play is kicked on, you know? It's like, oh god. And like, to me, I think Stranger Things gets a pass because of like, I think 80s camp is kind of part of the story. But it was definitely one of the moments that I was like, because it's a very good scene. It's a very, very important scene. Okay? And the moment that it happens, I'm just like, you just took the piss out of this whole fucking thing, man. Come on. They even do the like, here, let me see if I can get some sunlight glare coming in. Oh. It's not yellow like it was in the... Okay. Anyways, imagine there's like just piss-colored lighting kind of coming in from the background and like everybody's silhouetted. And then they look around at like the whole group and they're like... Remember that time you did the... that sure is like me. I like, it is such a good, it's such a necessary scene for the show, and yet it just, man, it falls a little flat because they just treated it like it was fucking like Lifetime movie shit, you know? To those of you who have seen it, don't spoil it, but you know what scene I'm talking about. If you're in the chat and you've seen it, just type yes if you know what I'm talking about. Wait, type... Hey, Reg Stewart. Hey, welcome. Like, type yes because I also want you to agree with me here. Unless I'm just totally off mark. Like, it was just a moment that I'm like, nobody talks this way. And the rest of the show has been great. It's had its low moments, sure. Is it as good as Breaking Bad? No, but like, come on now. I don't really do the comparison that way. I don't really think that Stranger Things had that level of perfect 10 out of 10. But yeah. I knew what scene you meant immediately, and the more you describe it, the more I knew I was right. Yeah. We had sunlight at Christmas. It was nice. We had 80-degree weather in Oklahoma. We had 80-degree weather. What the fuck? I know there was a planned zine to bring back the monstrous ancestries from the beta. Is there going to be something like that for the primordial kindled or the bespoke options as well? That's all going to be bundled in the same book. Let me kind of talk about what this is going to be. Oh, and there's been a new class added that we can talk about. So. Oh, yeah, and Maxwell got more artwork done. We're going to add the backgrounds and everything like that in later. This is going to be its own zine. This is going to be the expanded, like, character options thing. Vagabond's Volos. I prefer to think of it as Vagabond's Xanthar's Guide in terms of general likability, I would think. Yeah. We have the artwork for this. I don't know why it hasn't shown up. Spoilers. Hey, Crow. Hey, thank you so much for the $10, brother. So, the Dragoon. I remember this one did get nerfed. There hasn't really been playtesting on it, though. So far in here, the Monk and the Samurai have been playtested. Noble, I'm going to be working on because people have been saying, yes, bring it back, bring it, make that a thing. So we have this. We do have this. The Psychic is fully playable. I have not heard a lot of feedback on it, but it is going to be out in the public. Like, I'm thinking about doing a little bit of an early access, but I would like to have some artwork ready to go. And then kind of drop these things as a big, like, boom, you know. Yeah, someone already spotted it. Samurai, this one has been tested. This is a nerfed down version from the original creation. I need to see kind of where that's going to sit now. Sanguinist, I'm back and forth on. I think that this one might need to get pulled. I don't think that this one is quite ready because this is a bit too fiddly right here with blood magic. And we're going to need to kind of sit with that for a second. Summoner. This is the scariest fucking thing I think I've ever written for this game. I don't know. The balancing on this one is going to be a little bit tricky. So we're going to see what's up. Yes, there is a psychic class. It is fully playable. Perks that are going to be in here. Apparition, if you want to play as a ghost. Conjurer, actually this is now in the core rulebook. This just completely replaced all the summoner stuff that we were originally doing. And it plays very well. Werewolf. Zombified, vampire. You want to play a skeleton? You want to play a werewolf, vampire, zombie, ghost? Putting that in here. New spells. So I'm working on adding more in here. You know, loving the new print and the Conjurer not just being primordials. Yeah, I think that the new Conjurer way was the way to handle it. Elite ball knowledge. If the summoner has a mark that lets them summon. Has a mark that lets them summon? Oh, what? Oh, like they have a sign where it's like, aha! Here's my persona, and then they shoot themselves in the head. Like, that was always like one of the things whenever people would show me, like, yeah, if I was checking out persona, it's like, oh, okay, well, how do they do the summoning? And I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, so psychic we've talked about in the past. I'll kind of come back to that, and yeah, I mentioned it at some point. Okay. This is the new one that I think has one of the goddamn funniest features I've ever written for a class. I'm trying to figure out narratively if it kind of clicks for me for the pseudo-magical supernatural that classes kind of are in Vagabond. And we'll see if with luck that this makes sense. So, the Jester. My idea here would be, like, this is a hero that is so good at imitation and mockery that they can actually employ that in a way. They can, like, this actually needs to have a mechanic that makes sense for, like, mimicry, right? So, the Jester gets this feature. And this is... I thought this was so goddamn funny, I had to post it over on fucking Blue Sky. Mimicry. You can spend 1 luck to repeat the same action another being did this round, using performance for the check. You must still provide the resources such as mana for the action, but gain the benefits of any ability that action benefited from. So, what this does not... Yeah, okay, so Blue Mage. Right. My worry is that this is now introducing a juggled chainsaw into the game, where we have to be really worried about what we put on stat blocks, because you must provide the resources such as mana to do the action. Now, if people talk about how, like, okay, well, what about the barbarian using a battle axe? Okay, well, if you don't have a battle axe, you can't do the action. This is the worry, right? Is like, is it funny for it to be a blue mage and do all the blue mage things? Because if we say that it's a blue mage and you can, like, cast a breath of fire, then, like, okay, we have to have a damage cap. Like, we have to have a limiter on that. Or do we let this say you are doing the action? But the thing that kind of sucks with that is, I think people will think that action means either attack or cast action, not necessarily everything else that went in with it. You know what I mean? Oh, you did the same action that somebody else just did. What this is really good with, if you look, you gain the benefits from any ability that action benefited from. Cool. If you want to be the second rogue, but also have some flexibility, here you go. Oh, one of the things... hang on. Yeah. This is one of the things that does make this pretty interesting, I think. You're using performance for the check, and then it benefits from any ability that the action benefited from. Maybe they have mana, and if it does damage, you have to spend 1 mana per damage die. I don't know that I want to throw mana in here. I like the idea of it having to tie into luck. And then we have to think about the conversions of how good is a luck point in terms of mana conversion. And I don't know. Because this has been asked in the past. I even tried to really do this where, like, luck was going to be a kind of a pseudo resource for the sorcerer. And it didn't click. It never clicked. Because luck can regenerate really, really easily. It's tricky. If they're spending the luck to just duplicate the attack action, that's nonsense. There's no reason to do that. A studied die? I'm not a fan of that. Studied die can be regenerated a lot easier than luck can. Because luck is like, you have to crit. Like, you have to crit, or you have to rest. And I think that this might have to be ally. However, then that means you could swipe the moves of companions. This action any ability that applied to that action, including yours. Or as well as yours. The thing that I'm worried about with this is... Wait. You thought crit luck was gone? No, it's in the game. Here, let me explain that change. Real quick. Hang on a second. Trying to pull this up. And sorry, I was also doing some stuff for travel stuff, so I'm trying to make sure that I don't have any other PDFs open up with personal info. Okay, we're good. Alright. It's limited to this round. If your allies go first in the combat, they are the only available targets. Well, right, this round, but that round includes the enemy turn. So I thought about this turn instead of this round. However, you could hold your action to go after an enemy and then duplicate their action, which is, it doesn't really nerf that the way that I would hope it would. I was going over here to go pull up. Here we go. Okay. So some people were kind of confused as to how this worked, and I tried to simplify it to make sure This always gave you the benefit if you rolled a d20 and it resulted in a 20. So, the way that this works out, to make a check, roll a d20 and compare it to the result against the check's difficulty. This is all the same. However, when you crit, you gain 1 luck, which you can forego for a benefit based on the check. Attack/cast, deal damage to the targets equal to the stat or use the crit benefit listed in the spell. This is why this was changed. You now have to forego the luck that you gain in order to use the crit effect of the spell. It's an either-or situation because not all spells deal damage. So this makes it to where they're on even footing. Okay? It's not like the burn spell is always objectively better because it deals damage and the crit effect kicks in as well. This even spells out. Either crit or get a luck. Yes. So you do the crit, which grants you the luck. Or you can forego getting that luck to get a different benefit. So deal damage to the target equal to the stat, or use the crit effect listed in the spell, right here. Save, you aren't affected by what provoked the save and can use an action. That's all the same. This is cleaning it up and trying to make sure that this works as specifically as possible, because it just happens whenever you get a lot more eyes on your game, you're going to have questions that come up that just you could not, they just did not come up in playtest. Like, we were playtesting this for 2 years, and that never came up. Of like, oh, okay, well, if I forgo the luck, or, sorry, aren't some of these spells just objectively better because I get the crit effect and the damage on top of it? You know what I mean? So now this also applies to where on the ones that maybe they have a little bit more underwhelming of a crit effect, you can just deal the damage even if it doesn't normally say that they could. Boom. You psychically ruptured their mind. There you go. God, this contact is like folding up in my eye. No, don't fall out. Okay, there we go. Oh, come on. Maybe that works. No, that's worse. Okay. Some of the other things that changed, and then we'll get back over into new stuff. Yada da da. Trying to find. Oh, and by the way, London Pendragon has the print file now, so we are just waiting on all that to get approved. Okay. Sweet. Okay. I guess before I close this out and go back to the other thing, I was trying to remember some of the, like, oh, if you look at some of the statuses, they've just been cleaned up. A lot of the wording is supposed to clarify how it interacts in certain cases, not just, yeah. Let me see here. There was the suffocating thing. Oh, I feel like there was something else. Invisible. Gotta clean up if I remember right. There was something about vulnerable and incapacitated that got cleaned up. A lot of the text has just been unified. You're gonna see now, no longer do stat blocks say multi-attack or multi-cast. It says combo. Boom. This is a lot easier of a word for us to use as a keyword for other stuff in the game. Let me see here. Good God, I was trying to think of... Oh yeah, Dwarf. This is now just favor instead of a flat bonus. Nimble got cleaned up because it didn't make any sense as to... There was a piece of redundant text on there. Alchemist got cleaned up right up here. Some other features that also got cleaned up. Oh! Bard got the change, but we've talked about that on stream before. Here we go. This is actually a huge buff that was necessary because Hunter was designed at a time that Hunter was designed at a time, like, way early on, and it needed something else to keep up with what the other classes were doing for their capstone. Apex Predator. Damage you deal to the target of your hunter's mark ignores immune and armor. This is no longer just one armor. This was designed at a time where I thought one armor reduction was totally fine, and it just turns out that like this is not worth focusing on while you have so much other shit going on. This is now actually incredibly good. Like, you don't need magic weapons to hurt shit with the hunter anymore. Like, just straight up, this is fucking fantastic. And your bonus is basically, like, if you think about the strength of magic items overcoming armor, this is almost like the bonus is kind of quote-unquote doubled, if that's the way that you're kind of looking at it. This is basically like, you are dealing a shitload of damage with this class. I think at this point, Rogue is ignoring, like, 4. If I remember right, is it per die? Or the damage ignores the dice? Yeah, you ignore an amount of armor equal to this number of extra dice. This is better than what Rogue is getting in their sneak attack now. It's very, very good. Going on from there, Pugilist had some cleanups just with the text. Revelator did get a buff, but it's a cleanup with the aura. 10-foot aura with a Paragon's aura. That's it. Merchant got a huge buff, and that this is just multiplied by 10. It's very good. Yeah, level 10 monsters can have big armor, yes. You ordered from DriveThruRPG a few days ago. What are they going to send you? They would send you the current rulebook, not the updated one. If you cancel and reorder, wait. So cancel it, and then wait. Wait until I've confirmed that we have the proof in hand for the soft cover. If you follow me on social media, that'll get you the best updates as to when that's going to be available. Or come join the Discord. But yeah, that's most likely going to be about a month out. I will get them the print file tonight, but they're also out of the office for the holidays, so they will probably be back in around the start of the new year, and then everything's going to get going with print production again. Let me see here. Oh, but I will say, as long as it's available for your location, you're probably going to want to pick up the one off the Land of the Blind storefront. Just saying. The binding is going to be infinitely better than what they can do on the print on demand. But I also know that we're having a lot of trouble getting it over to certain countries. So yeah. About a week and a half ago, you haven't gotten confirmation of it being sent out. Do I need to cancel that order? If you can cancel it, cancel it. Yeah, if you can cancel it, cancel it. And then just wait a little while, and you'll get the updated version. Now, Witch didn't have any changes. I don't think Wizard had any changes. There's just mostly some cleans up of the perks here, but there was Conjurer. Conjurer is now a part of the base game. And then Silver Tongue to replace Singer. There was a change. Oh, yeah. Someone brought this up, and it was a very, very good point. Skill checks from your stats, but it won't let you double it and subtract from your trained skill checks. That depends on the reader that you're using. If you're using it in anything but Adobe or I think Chrome, readers don't like the JavaScript of the that PDF all that much. It all depends on the reader that you're using, because you have to use Adobe's form of JavaScript, not like JavaScript, which is very strange. But it does work. We know that it works. It's all reader dependent. Will we be getting anything for content past level 10? I mean, the classes level into infinite, if you decide to go that far. But I will say that, like, for me, making content for, like, 0.5% of, like, what people are expecting out of that, it's not really where I'm looking at investing a lot of money into projects. You know what I mean? That's kind of where that's at, you know. But one of the other things, hang on, I forgot to throw this in because Maxwell got me the art for this. Hang on, actually, let me download that. Oh, here we go. I need to download that. And then actually put it into the file and talk about something else that's coming into the game for Magic. I talked about this over on the Discord, but I am going to be doing this. Oh, wait, let me get the right one. There we go. Okay, so number one of the pieces that I got from Maxwell was specifically because of this concept I have for the new Zine thing, this new book that's going to come out. The Gathering. And this is going to be variant magic systems. So, hang on, spell. Okay, so I've had the idea for this, and I think that it's far enough along in the brainstorming that I'm fine with committing to doing this. What this is going to be, and here's the artwork for it, just so you guys know kind of what's coming up. Boom. I want to show how people can use Vagabond's magic system to make other magic systems work for their worlds. I don't want to have to force everybody into simply just using what we wrote. This is going to mean a couple different things. Number one, I want to build out materia from Final Fantasy VII, like the best magic system that's ever existed in the game, and then show you how you can do that in Vagabond to where your fighter can be Cloud. They can equip materia to a weapon, etc., etc. Then, for the people who really want to play Vagabond, but they are stuck very hardcore in Vaesen magic, and they want that to be a thing over here, I will show you how to make Vaesen magic work for Vagabond. Now, the other thing I kind of thought about was the Magic the Gathering color wheel, or color pie chart, whatever you want to say, the 5-color magic system. I've thought about this. I'm a little bit worried about some of the legalese with this territory and this territory right here. I think if I was also to step into this territory, that's way more likely to get me some shit. We'll see. I don't know for sure, but we'll see. Vaesen, my beloved. Yeah, I personally don't like playing with Vaesen magic, but if people do want to play with it, I'll include something in here. This can literally just be showing like, hey, charm person, use this spell right here, Fireball, for a level 3 spell. I think that with Vaesen magic, it's a little bit more forgiving legally because so many other people have used it. I don't really think that they're very hardcore on enforcing this right here, you know. For materia though, weapons would have a certain hang on, number of materia slots to add magic to. I guess to add spells. I'm just gonna say materia. There we go. Scaling, mana, level X something. I think this calculation could be a little bit weird, and that's where we're gonna have to go into Just kind of abstracting a little bit. There we go. Because there's also... times class, something like that. What I kind of think, yeah. By the way, you've been mostly playing theater, the minor RPGs, Blades and Mythic. My discovery of Vagabond has rekindled my passion for tactical RPGs. Ah, thank you. Thank you so much, Bad Tactic. You were homebrewing something kind of similar for Materia. The players get access to spells as rechargeable items that collect mana as a resource at the end of a hex crawl through a dungeon. Yeah, I kind of think that, like, some of that gets into a little bit tracking heavy. But, yeah, I think the goal would be to, like, say, you know, like a mundane weapon, 2 slots, plus 1 weapon, 4 slots, six slots, right? Or I guess plus 3 relic. Right? I mean, if you really wanted to hit it like it does in Final Fantasy. And then, like, all the spells would just be able to use, like... the spell... So, like, right? This is part of the reason why I wanted to get this art right here. I wanted to show that, like, okay, well, this system can actually blow out to do other, you know, magic systems. What is Materia in Final Fantasy? Imagine, here, let me see if I can get a diagram, like a picture of this up. Number one, it's the best magic system in a video game. Final Fantasy. Okay. So, let me see if I can I just get the bigger picture? Can you blow this up to full screen? Full size image? Okay, here we go. All right. So, each one of the different weapons or armor that they have equipped have a number of slots. These slots right here, you can put a piece of materia into it. And that materia gives them access to a certain spell, a certain summon. Some of them are just utility or special actions, like the yellow ones right here. So these can be for, like, steel. Now you can use the steel command. This can be enemy skill. So now you can turn this character into a blue mage by equipping the enemy skill and then taking damage from certain enemy attacks and things like that, right? This blue one right here, this augments the materia that's equipped to it. So because they've got this little bar right here showing that they're, like, paired together, that means that this one will feed off of this one and vice versa, right? In some of these cases, this could be like all, and then if the other one is green, it would just be a spell. Typically in Final Fantasy, whenever you cast a spell, it only targets one creature out on the battlefield, but if you have all, it targets, like, all of the enemies. And if you use, like, Cure, then it would cure your entire party and restore health to all of your party, right? So this is really simple. It is extremely simple in its concept. And something like this could very easily slot in using Vagabond system just as materia. This is incredibly hard to do for something like Vaesen magic. In Vaesen magic, everything is so set by what you can do with a spell that, like, could you do this? Sure, but, like, Vaesen magic kind of already is a materia system in a way. But here in Vagabond, we can still do this with, like, you found the burn materia, slot that in, you know it, into that weapon, and you can cast it. So now this is a way to where everybody can be a Gish. I'm going to have to look and see what happens with, like, the mana growth from certain classes, and see, like, I mean, part of this is going to be a math day of just sitting here and figuring out the equation that's going to make sense for that. But that is a thing that I would like to do with the expanded Zine. It's just, that's going to be some work. But that is one of the things I'm looking at putting into it. The other spells that are in here, Weld, Leap, these were just kind of fun ideas. I've wanted to add more spells into the game. I wasn't going to throw them into the core rulebook, but I think with the magic system, this is something that people have really, really latched onto, and I want to keep supporting it. And one of the easiest ways is going to be to find spells and just, yeah. So Leap, when the target jumps, they can spend any portion of their speed to leap up to that distance horizontally or half that distance vertically. Additionally, they don't take damage from falling a height that is less than double their speed. This is the way that we can make the Dragoon work. Weld. Choose 2 targets that fit within the area. Those 2 targets become bound together for the duration, effectively causing them to be restrained or secured, whatever is appropriate. A target can use its action to attempt to separate itself from this bond, forcing a cast check to maintain it. This check has a penalty equal to half the being's hit dice round down. So, if you want to make it movable objects, there you go. Director RPG answered your support ticket already. Problem solved. Hell yeah. Okay, so they might be back in the office. I will get them that file, like, here pretty quick then. Yeah. Now, kind of going back up here. Okay. So, I have shown off the psychic kind of privately. I guess I haven't really shown it off here on stream. Again, oh, this is one that hasn't been play tested. Let's go behind. Yeah, there we go. So remember, this one hasn't been play tested. This right here is a concept that after I started playing Control, I was like, we have to put a psychic in Vagabond. This is too fucking good. People have been asking for it. So, what does it do? Starting out, Psionics, you gain 3 talents from the list below and 1 new talent every 2 psychic levels hereafter. You can use Mysticism for talents, and you can cast it as if you had spent mana equal to half your psychic level. Talents. These are things like, if it says focus in parentheses, that means it requires focus. Absence, you're invisible. Ascend. This is all Vagabond. I'm not designing for D&D anymore. I am whole hog on Vagabond now. Ascend acts as a levitate spell. These all act as certain spells, right? Cryokinesis, Befuddle, Destroy. Evade, it grants a D4 reflex bonus while you're focusing on it. This can be for you or somebody else. Launch acts as the Kinesis spell. Manifest acts as the Forge spell. Mediumship acts as the break spell. Pyrokinesis acts as the burn spell. Seize acts as the charm spell. Shield grants a D4 armor bonus. Again, remember you can grant that to other people. Yeah, you can ask the GM a question about the campaign and they have to tell you the answer. Well, it's actually really good what they get in here. Transfection, you have fly. Now, wait, transfection should be... Boom. Now, going down here to Awakening. No animate? What for? Just what, like you partially make something move around? I guess that's what Kinesis would be doing. But animate, I guess I'm trying to find the fantasy in there. Maybe. Awakening, you gain the telepath perk and can use your mind as a trinket. Boom. Precognition. You have favor on your first save each round while focusing. There's just a little oomph, you know. Duality. You can focus on 2 talents at once and can focus on an additional talent every 4 levels hereafter. This is like their real big oomph. You're able to focus on shield and evade, absence, and transvection. You become this invisible, hyper tough tank, hyper quick dodge, flying fucking just controller. It's crazy what you can do with this now. I don't know that lower level playtest is going to be quite as good or like as telling as what later level playtest is going to be on this thing. Mental Fortress. You can't be berserk, charmed, confused, or frightened against your will. Transcendence. You can use your action or skip your move to change one of your talents. Swap these out as you want to go, and you basically have access to every single talent that you would want on here. A level 10 Scion, or like Psychic, has so much going for him. Wait, this should be Awakening. Oh wait, Awakening Psionics. Why is that? Did I touch caps lock? I guess I did. You can use your mind as a trinket rips. Why is this not typing? Here we go. I love the idea of like your mind is this supernatural thing that you can now straight up, boom, cast spells with it. That's just like, I love that idea so much. Psychic is, I mean, like, notice this doesn't have mana, right? I really like the idea that Scions are not quote unquote magical, you know? So, yeah, that's what yeah. Wait, Yondu, it's on theme. But, I mean, isn't that what Kinesis does? You're launching stuff. You're throwing it at someone. Doesn't that... Right? Am I missing something here? Have you seen the Control sequel announcement trailer? Yes. Yes. Of everything from the Game Awards, that's probably the thing I'm most stoked for. Yeah, Control was so sick. You get your sword to fight. I guess I can see that. Oh, wait, we had more room up here? Nice. Well, this is so much better than how D&D tries to differentiate psionics from spellcasting. Again, it's like using Fancy and Magic just ties your hands behind your back. Yeah. Very AD&D positive to make the distinction between magic and psychic. I mean, I've never felt like psychic characters were magical. It doesn't feel right to me. I've never been able to describe why, but yeah, it never felt... I don't know. It never felt like I should be using spell slots to cast, or to like do being a psychic, you know. The psionic forces the curtains to wrap around you and restraining you. Animate isn't odd for a psychic. Well, I'm trying to figure out what the... I guess in that case, it's like... That does click. And I mean, I guess they do need another talent to make this an even table here. Yeah, access the... I guess, Dark Sun conversion with psychic talents and materia variant magic system. Yeah, I personally, I know that there's a lot of people that really love Dark Sun. I'm just like, I've never gotten into it. That's it. I've never tried to get into it, so I just don't really. Yeah, I know that it's got a big fan base and everything, but I guess I'm personally not part of it. But that's just because I haven't really checked into it. I'm trying to think of what you would name that. Acts as the animate spell, but what would that be? I mean, I guess you could just do this, and there's got to be a name for that kind of power. Control. Sure. Have the direct reference there. Yeah, because, I mean, look, there has been no other game that's made me literally feel like a psychic than Control. This is the best fucking, like, Jedi Warrior game ever. Seriously, if you have not played it, it goes for dirt cheap on Steam. Like, oh, wait, shit. There we go. What's it going for now? If you haven't played it, you need to immediately. Control Resonant is the... Guys, it's $6 right now on Steam. It is $6. It is 85% off on Steam right now. You need to be playing this. You need to play this game. It is so fucking good. I mean, it's the inspiration behind Triangle Agency. Like, Caleb and Sean just straight up made a Control game. It's so fucking good. It is so fucking good. You need to be playing it. Yeah. And then be stoked because the sequel is coming out. Oh. Yeah. Noble, I know I have my ideas for it. I wrote my Sovereign for 5e forever ago. I have my ideas for this. A lot of people have been requesting it. I need to make it happen. I will work to make this happen. Actually, real quick, I need more nobles here for the iconics. Hiccup. I've got Ellen Venture. What else we got? We do need like the just bot control. Hey, Steam, sponsor the channel. You see what I can do for you? King Richard? Isn't that Robin Hood? Jamie Lannister? I don't know that Jamie fits it. What's the playstyle of a noble? You're like commanding and giving buffs. Lord Farquaad. Who's Lionheart? Sovereign class from the Etrian Odyssey games? I'm not familiar. There has got to be somebody that someone in chat will say, and I'm like, why aren't they here? Cersei. Man, Cersei's complicated. I don't know that I would say Picard. Is there someone from Fire Emblem? My thing with consistently listing Fire Emblem is like it looks like it's like the only inspiration for the game. I mean, you could say Robin from Fire Emblem. Robin's a tactician. But even Chrom is so much more of like fighter. Oh, wait. Zap Brannigan? Okay, hang on. You're thinking commanders. Not noble demon. Royalty and nobility tropes. I've got to allow ads on TV tropes. Let me see. Zelda. I forgot about Zelda. TV trope stream. Yeah, why is this? Here, let's go into, yeah. Yeah, Zelda from Hyrule, yeah. Dr. House from House. Okay, now you're just fucking with me now. Okay, there we go. We need to find characters. Literature, we've got Elend. You're thinking of Link, Zelda is the princess. Yeah. Animation, Peter Pan. Okay, I'm just trying to see. Give me a character. The Princess Bride. Paul Atreides from Dune. I have not watched Dune. But I mean, if he fits, someone in chat let me know. I own Dune. I have the book. I just haven't gotten to it yet. King Arthur. I guess, yeah. Nobles who actually do something trope. Royals who actually do something. It's actually a trope. Oh, what? Alexander the Great, Charlemagne, Genghis Khan. I guess Alexander the Great kind of works. Warrior princess trope. Okay. Yeah, that's what we should probably look at here in a minute. Fairy Tales fan works. Ted Lasso? Princess Leia? It could be Princess Leia. I don't know that I would say that any... So many of the Disney princesses I just don't think really fit the mold. Level 1, he's just Alexander the Mediocre. Yeah, he's like, level 1, Alexander the Intern. Live action, 300. King Leonidas of Sparta leaves his troops on a suicide mission to protect their home. Yeah. King Leonidas is great, but he does feel so much more like a fighter. But no. I take that back. I take that all back. He super fucking 100% fits. Inspirational speech. How many fucking quotes are there from King Leonidas in 300 that make you just go, oh yeah, that would get my shit just ready to go die for this dude. Our arrows will blot out the sun. Dude, sign me the fuck up. What else have we got? Just the this is Sparta moment alone is like, yeah, who is somebody who has said something that's made you go, I'm following your ass in the battle, what the hell ever, you know? Which Zelda is your favorite? I think if you say Breath of the Wild / Tears of the Kingdom, that just means like you're simping super hard, right? Captain Picard, I don't think Picard fits. They're kind of like Revelators, rallying ability buff as a backline supporter with melee. Yeah, kinda. I personally really like Zelda, but Zelda is cool too. Because, like, the way that I made the Sovereign in 5e felt very, like, holy shit, this thing gets to be a bit intense. Like, I remember the Sovereign's capstone was just fucking wild. Okay, we have Elend, King Leonidas, Zelda. We have a video game, we have a movie, we have a book. Alright, wait. Where are my weebs? My weebs are the ones who are always yelling anime tropes, anime at me. What noble do we have in anime? Y'all are failing today. Edmund Blackadder? I know it's because of Donna Noble, but I can't stop thinking Doctor Who. Prince Harry? Can't wait for a party with Noble and Vanguard. Yeah, that's like so often whenever people are looking at my Sovereign, they're like, wait, why would I want my players to already be like noble heroes, or they're already kings and everything? And I'm like, yeah, why not? Like, I never get that. Yeah, Prince Vegeta. Oh my god. I mean, Vegeta's a sorcerer, but that's very funny. Holy shit. Does he say anything though that makes you go like, yes, we'll fight for this man? No, it's just like, for the Saiyan race! Like, genocide everybody. And still, the best character out of Dragon Ball Z. Actually, Vegeta is short? Huh? The coach from Punch-Out. Okay, wait. It's one thing to be a commander, but, like, it's not just a commander. The prince formerly known as Artist? That anime about the guy with the drill. Okay. So, I think you mean Gurren Lagann. And I don't think... I don't think that he was a noble. I think that he was like an inspirational speaker. But yeah, I'm looking for somebody that is a... defined like they are a royal character, but like they're inspirational like this, you know? Like... Oh god, who was the guy in Lord of the Rings? Oh. I don't think it wasn't Helm's Deep. Wait, was it Aragorn? No, it was Black Gate, right? Elrond? Was it Aragon? Ah. Eowyn? No. Where the... Man.
I see in your eye.
Oh, yeah, it's this scene.
The same fear that would take the heart of me. A day may come when the courage of men fails, when we forsake our friends and break all bonds of fellowship. But it is not this day.
What's the...
An hour of wolves and shattered shields when the age of men comes crashing down.
Yeah, it's Aragorn.
But it is not this day. This day we fight. By all that you hold dear on this good earth, I bid you stand, men of the West.
Yeah, like, come on now. Like, you these guys know, hey, we're about to get fucked up. And you can still find a guy who's like, no, go talk to them for like 5 minutes and then let's see what they think. Creative one, hey, welcome, welcome. Fighter/noble multi-class, yeah. Yeah, someone who can like straight up encourage an army of dudes to be like, look, dude, there's like 300 orcs right there and we have like 50 guys. What are we supposed to do? And he's like, no, you know you're gonna die, but like, you got to do this. Like, I mean, you know, someone who does that with a lot more gusto than what I've got, you know. Yeah, you need that. You need that, like, hey, go in and fuck shit up, guy. You know? Sorry, I was just checking this. All right. Yeah, noble blood not be required, just noble spirit. Yeah, right? Morpheus from the Matrix. Okay. So, did we just do a double here? Did we just do that and have someone that represents 2? Because they're not, remember, they're not just a commander. They're not just a commander. They are also nobility, you know. You know who's actually a better fit for this? And now I'm going to fuck up his name. You see, you want someone who's a Tyrion, not a fucking Joffrey. Tywin is a really good fit. I think Tywin's probably a better fit. Yeah, leadership with bloodline backing, yeah. I think Tywin's a fucking great fit for that. You got Leonidas, you got Ellen, you got Aragorn, you got Zelda. Alright. I think we... Alright, we have... real life, real action, what do they call it? Live action show. We've got movie, book, video game. This has to be a thing in anime. This has to be a thing in anime. Winston Churchill. Okay. Hang on. Meliodas? Here, let's look. How many examples do you want on the page? I just typically start with 5 and then start cutting it down as I start to work on the thing. Comic books? Wait. They don't have... TV Tropes doesn't have any anime reps listed here. What? It definitely is not one, but no one I can think of is nobility. Scroll up. Oh. Attack on Titan. Queen who? Queen. That's funny. I don't have an Attack on Titan rep anywhere. Griffith from Berserk. Griffith. Ooh. Huh. Yeah, King Vegeta. Yeah. Griffith is a very good rep there. Ooh. Let me see if there's not somebody else that comes along that makes me go, yeah, that it's got to be that instead. God, nobles in anime seem to be villains. Yeah, I guess so. Yu-Gi-Oh! It might have to be Griffith.
Dwarf goblins.
Rides anew. Hey, welcome. Or just yeah. I have not watched Black Clover yet. Wait, is Black Clover the one with the yeah, oh no, I did watch I watched 2 episodes of this because everybody was saying that this is like the shit that D&D people need to watch. Worst fucking protagonist I have ever seen in a goddamn anime. I'm like, I've told you guys about how I don't like, One Piece because Luffy's voice actor is just, I can't deal with the screaming and everything like that. This is like one of the first shows I've straight up turned off and never started again because I hated the protagonist that much. Beat you to it. This is, I could not continue on with this show. Maybe if they retried it, but like they'd have to rewrite this character's, not just his voice, his personality. This guy sucked. Yuffie or Aerith from Final Fantasy VII? Nah. No, I don't really see that. Yuffie is so much more rogue. Aerith is straight up Luminary. Oh, I guess there's Dagger from Final Fantasy IX. Oh, this context is going to drive me crazy. Oh. Hang on. I'm going to grab my glasses. Ugh. Maybe get it. Boosh. Saw your message about Goldie Roger. Now I don't know. Like, I don't know the character. I like the idea of Griffith. Palutena. Dimitrescu. All right, does this... man, I was really hoping to find like another female rep. I mean, I guess Griffith counts. How is there not one of these? Like, damn, I am really scratching my brain here. This'll work. This'll work. Leia or Amidala? Amidala. I'm gonna skip that. Joan of Arc. But wait, she wasn't nobility. Right? Like, more for feel. Yeah, I was about to say, I think she was just like some random chick saying like she heard God. And yeah, she was a peasant. Yeah. I was about to say, like, she was just like out there saying like, no, you don't understand. We have to go here because God told me to. And it just worked. Like, it's the spirit that counts. Well, okay. Wait, I thought they accused her of being a witch. She was burned for heresy? Blasphemy by wearing men's clothes, acting upon visions that were demonic, and refusing to submit her words and deeds to the judgment of the church. She was declared guilty and burned at the stake at age 19. She was killed at 19 years old because she fucking wore a goddamn button up? What? For being a woman on the battlefield. Jesus. Yeah, but wasn't it like she kept saying that she heard, like, she had visions of like, this is what we need to do in this fight, like here's where we need to go next, and for whatever reason the visions like guided them to victory like every fucking time. And Francis was like, whoa, wait, hang on, you're not wearing a dress? It's the stake for you, ma'am. Like, what the fuck? Her actions were viewed as a threat to the Catholic Church. I mean, like, how does the Catholic Church not see that and go, hang on, what is she onto? Like, okay, she says that she's hearing from God, and apparently her plans are working, guys. What let's ask her about this whole like baptism thing. Should we really be dunking babies right now, or like what's the deal here, Joan? Like, circumcision. Look. She was outside the pyramid scheme. Oh, there you go. Ugh. Okay. Now. Oh, wait. Her name is, I think it starts with a K, right? There's Ashitaka. Oh, wait. There's Ashitaka. San. Never mind. I was totally wrong. San is really good as a character. Okay, get this out of here. San is the princess of the wolf gods. Oh, wait. I like the idea. I like it a lot. San versus Griffin. Or Griffith. Who's a better fit here? Son or Griffith? Hang on one sec. God, I'm still clearing out the sinus infection, it feels like. You don't want Griffith there? I feel ya. No, okay, there we go. Like, man, Griffith sucks, but also Tywin's not great either. He also feels more commander. She-Ra. I like having Son there. I don't know. Well, we'll let that stick and see if it latches on. We gotta have. Is Commander a separate class? I want to leave the room for it to be able to be a separate class. Xena. Man, I feel like Xena is so much better fitting for like a barbarian example, you know? Okay, so we need a good quote here. You could just do, I mean, but like, God, that just doesn't quite hit like the Summoners does. I was, whenever I was coming up with like, okay, what should there be in the, what quotes should we get? What should hit right? Come on now, like, that was, for Summoner, I was just like, ooh, it just needs to be real simple. Just like, sick 'em. Oh, that's such a like, yes, that's exactly what this does. Yes, I love that. I've been looking for more of those where it hits right for, yeah, give me 3 words that are just like, yes. Some of you may die today, but that's a risk I'm willing to take. Oh man. This is meh. I don't know. I'll figure that out eventually. Okay. Now. Okay. We'll talk Monk for a second. This one had to get nerfed. I released a preview of it about 2 months ago. And in play testing, it just crazy overperformed. Yeah, Monk is separate from Pugilist because I figured out a gimmick that I liked a lot more. That made it feel more like Monk than Pugilist. Pugilist is better at being a frontline tank. This is better at being a swift controller. This is, you want to go in and throw a bunch of punches, that's the Monk. You want one punch to hit really hard, you go Pugilist. This is like rewarding you for doing a bunch of combo pieces, right? Whereas Pugilist is like, you can tank shit and hit shit really hard. Here, this is like, you need to dodge and just consistently keep going in there like crazy. This is why with Monk, further, whenever you hit with a finesse attack, you can either apply the cleave or keen property, right? So now if you want to like kick in like an arc, boom, 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 or like punch multiple people, boom, you can do that right here with cleave. Increase the size of your subsequent finesse attack damage dice this round. So you can either do one or the other, right? You could try to increase this damage die, and as it increases, boom, then you can apply cleave and just hit multiple people with it, and it feels like a big fun finisher, right? Yeah, Mike Tyson versus Bruce Lee. Yeah, basically. Treads lightly, and then you can use it to like run on water later on, right? Boom, right there. Flurry of blows. When you spend half your speed to make a second menace attack, you can make 2 attacks instead of 1. When you become a 10th level monk, you can make 3 attacks rather than 2. And then this starts out as a d6. So you don't ramp, or sorry, it's a slower start, but you can get more hits in than you could with the Pugilist. The Pugilist is like, I'm going to make this damage die bigger from the get-go, and I'm just going to be beefier. Whereas the monk gets more like versatility in what they can do with the punch, like kind of all throughout the class. Yeah, the spin attack. Yeah. If you say, or how would you compare? Wait, how would you say it compares to the Vagabond Rogue and or the 5e Monk? Well, I think the 5e Monk has tried to fill 2 different niches, and I think that this is going to feel similar to a 5e Monk. But the damage die is not going to scale and be like a key thing that you're like using, and you're not using key as a resource here. Like, it's not a point expense class. This is just a like, you can do this shit, right? Vagabond does not, like, we don't track resources unless you really sign up for it in that class. You're not going to find many features in Vagabond that are going to say something like, you can use this once per rest. That's typically reserved for resources regenerating. It works for, like, mana, yeah, sure. But, like, it's very rare that something is going to ask you to continuously track something. Comparing it to rogues, this is like, Rogue is getting a burst of damage out of one attack, whereas the monk is spreading it out across multiple attacks. You always hated how monk was so mad and key dependent for you to do anything cool. Yeah, well, and the other thing to keep in mind with this is a distinction between the monk and the pugilist. The monk is prioritizing dexterity for their attacks, which means they can crit more because they're using finesse stuff, right? But their hit points are not going to be as high as what the pugilist is going to get, you know? Pugilist gets the crazy shit, like, I mean, the, what was it? Haymaker. Hang on. So, the Haymaker, you can straight up punch someone so hard that they fucking get dazed, right? Like, we're trying to pack a lot into one single punch rather than the monk, which gets a bunch of different blows to potentially combo up into getting the big damage die. This one is just getting the big damage die. Yeah, when you take the rush action, you can also make one attack with a brawl weapon. Check hook. Check hook is just generally good for control. Yeah, if they move or attack. So this is off your turn. You can, boom, do this. I mean, Pugilist gets pretty gnarly. But the thing with Monk that I got kind of worried about was just how much their damage die was increasing. And then whenever they got Exalt on them, there was just the flat +1 bonus on top of every single attack, on top of them having a relic weapon that they were using for the attack. So I was like, I was a little bit worried there, but yeah. Monk chip damage versus Puge one big hit. Well, and they can disperse the damage like a lot easier. Now, the other trick to this is, remember, this says D4 for finesse weapons. Finesse weapons do not have big damage dice. Like, they just don't. This is why the Pugilist starts out a little bit ahead, but this can ramp up for them. So they're doing, like, eventually there's the potential for them to get up to a D12 dagger attack. So you know, there's stuff like that. There was another thing in this that I was like, this was a concern. Yeah, Flurry of Blows becoming 3 attacks. I was trying to remember what else. I think the thing I would like to do in this, wait. Wait. Ooh. Ooh. I want to get the flexibility in here. Hang on. When you spend half your speed to make a second finesse attack, you can make 2 attacks instead of 1. 10th level monk, you can make 2 attacks with your... I was trying to open up the versatility to where, like, but what if I don't want to skip my move and I want those attacks to occur with my action? Once per round, you can make an extra finesse attack when you either skip your move. Oh, wait. When you either attack... Because we're capitalizing that now. Ooh, oh, Okay, that is anime as fuck. That is higher level monks. All right. Increase the size of your subsequent finesse attack damage dice this round. Yeah, absolutely busted beyond 10th level. Yeah, I mean, if you tell someone they can play like a 30th level monk, they're making, okay, 3 attacks so far, and then, so 3 attacks, and then 10th level, 14th level, 18th level, 22nd level, 26th level, 30th level monk is making 9 attacks. That's it's dumb. It's very dumb. Like, if the feedback I got back was that someone said this can't exist whenever a wizard just did 20d6 damage, I'm like, I think we're okay. You're mad at the monk for dealing 9d12 whenever the wizard just threw this out. Like, yeah, so we'll play 30th level monk versus 3 Tarasques, yeah. We'll see what that does. That's very funny. Okay. Oh, alright. Let's summarize, I guess kind of go through this real quick. So we talked about mimicry earlier. So we had mimicry. I don't know, this is going to be the thing that I'm like, we've got to test this and see what happens with it. I don't see it as being future-proofed, which is the thing that has me a little bit worried. We'll have to figure this one out. Mockery. You gain the Provoker perk and can use its effect by skipping your move, and can use it against all near beings of your choice who can see or hear you. You can straight up goad an entire like mob that's surrounded you, which I think is just hilarious for this class. Tricky maneuvers. The roll for you to crit on reflex saves is reduced by an amount equal to your Jester level divided by 4 round up. So you can take additional actions a lot easier. A lot easier, it turns out. Lucky streak. If you crit, you gain 2 luck rather than 1. Further, if you have no luck during a breather, you gain 1 luck. Oh, just as a reminder, the roll for you to crit on reflex saves is right here. This would mean the extra action, which means you can, if something misses you, you can mock it or like mimic it as mockery and then just immediately do the thing it tried to do to you. Like, perfect goad. You can choose one being goaded with your Provoker perk. All of your ally saves against the target's attacks automatically pass while you focus on this ability. You must spend 1 luck each time you focus on this ability. So this is a very good effect. A very good effect. But it does have this trade-off because it has to. It absolutely has to have that. Sincerest flattery. You can mime a goaded enemy without spending luck. Boom. God damn. Like, I think this is so fucking funny. I think that this is such a dumb class, but God, I want to make this work because this feels so good. This feels like exactly what people would want out of a Jester. Yes, is it Blue Mage? Yeah, a little bit. However, oh wait, hang on. Wait. If you mime a being, or the action of a being that acted this turn, it doesn't require luck. I'm trying to see. Is there a matter of intelligence in who/what can be mocked? No, it doesn't say that. In the action section, I think it says mime when it's supposed to say mimicry. There we go. So I'll figure this out. This is one that whenever I drop it, I'm gonna have to tell everybody, like, you gotta crunch it. You've gotta crunch it. I need to see people like on their A game trying to figure out how to break that thing in half. Oh, I guess I haven't talked about the Illrigger here on stream at any point. So Skirkin Vard came up with this really cool idea. And this was for variant like archetypes. This was such a good idea. I immediately started just like, hey, we gotta talk. Like, can I print this in a book? So now that we have all the permission and everything like that, I started out with trying to make like a variant for the Revelator called the Illrigger. So the Illrigger, I mean, like most people are familiar with it from like what Matt Colville kind of popularized it, but like this thing has been around since, good God, like D&D, I think like 2nd edition. Funnily enough, I heard MCDM apparently tried to trademark the name Illrigger, which it's like, what? Okay. Anyways, this is going to function a lot like what the Illrigger from AD&D did, or 2nd edition, whenever it came out. A lot of this is going to function a lot like what the Revelator already does. However, we have things like, instead of Exalt, they're going to get Control over here in their spells. Then we go over here to Oppressive. Whenever you hit an enemy with a melee attack, you regain hit points equal to half your Illrigger level round up. You could say Bagger Rats it if you're allowing that to work like that. It's not how it's intended to function. An enemy is a combatant you are in combat with. If you're just hitting something, that's just you hitting something. Seal of Corruption. Once per turn, when you target a near enemy, you can apply a seal to them for 1 minute. Near enemies that bury your seal take damage equal to half your Illrigger levels at the start of their turns. So this is, you go in and you're just dealing a pulse of like 1 damage. Like, okay, bam. It gets better. At 4th level, you're doing 2. I mean, you are sucking out half of a hit die every. Eventually, whenever we get up to 8th level, you're talking about an entire hit die's worth of health right there immediately. Holy Overlord, you can't be blinded, paralyzed, or sickened. Further, your enemies in the area of your aura spells can't regain hit points. This is, I've thought about like enemies with your seal or within your aura spells. I'm trying to figure out if this is, it's funny how I'm worried about this rather than this. I guess I could say Enemies that bear your seal of corruption can't regain hit points. The aura is a bit too flexible. But now this kind of feels like you have to... This class is entirely about that. But the aura exists. But the aura is already so good, I don't know that we really need to buff it, like, right here. Maybe? And then we gotta edit this a little bit. We gotta... Well, guys, Vanguard started playing, so you have to ask, how do you like the reveal of Control Resonant? Also, you play the Alan Wake games. I am more stoked for the Control sequel than anything else they announced at the Game Awards, to be totally honest. But no, I haven't started the Alan Wake games yet. I've just now recently started to get the time to be able to play more video games. And I started out with Clair Obscur. And I've been fucking loving Clair Obscur. You can apply a seal to them for 1 minute. Near enemies that bear your seal take damage equal to half your Illrigger level at the start of your turns. How can I edit this down? Oh, Wake 2 is almost a whole album of old Gods of Asgard. Sick. The last part of this is too much. There we go. Checks and saves you make against enemies that bear your seal of corruption have favor. Boom. There we go. How do I feel about party composition in Vagabond? What would your ideal balanced round of group of 4 to 6 heroes be? I mean, I think the traditional meta of like fighter, rogue, and wizard makes a lot of sense. I think in Vagabond, because wizards can get access to like healing spells, then like you don't really have to have a priest necessarily, like a luminary in Vagabond. I don't really think that there's an ideal composition. But I think, you know, everybody knows that like having a tank would be really, really good. And tanks are really strong in Vagabond. I would say though, like, it depends entirely on like what's your group size for what you're gonna play. Solo wise, if you're playing Vagabond solo, I think it's really hard to knock just how good Rogue is for solo. If you're playing it with like 2 people, you're probably gonna really like having a... I wouldn't go Sorcerer with 2 people. The reason why is that Sorcerer can go 1 of 2 builds. Either you go the Super Saiyan Sorcerer build of like High Might, or you go with like just heavy blaster. I think that the High Might Sorcerer is going to have a better shot in solo than the like. This is all because tap is like their main feature. That's like their core gimmick. I think Rogue does very well for solo. And I think that like Fighter is also just decent all-rounder. Barbarian could be quite good. I haven't really tried that in solo. I think Luminary is probably going to be one of your better bets for solo play. Dancer and Barbarian. I mean, at that point, just roll up 2 Barbarians, you know? Dancer, I think, is better off whenever you have at least 2 or 3 other characters. At least. Otherwise, you're the battery for somebody else taking 2 turns. You know what I mean? In that case, like, you're not going to have as much fun if you would have just gone with playing a copy of that class. Tried the solo dungeon with a High Might Sorcerer and enjoyed it a lot. Hell yeah. Yeah, I think being able to reduce your hit points in order to turn that into mana has been really striking a chord with a lot of people. I mean, it's what so many people have been wanting from like a Blood Mage kind of a thing. I need to get Maxwell on artwork for this really bad. I feel like this is going to be one that's closer to making it than anything else. Monk, we're going to need art for. Psychic, yeah. Okay. Now, back in on this. Tapping hit points for magic resources another way. 5e fumbles the ball. Well, there's a way it can be done, but the problem is Wizards of the Coast didn't figure it out. Like, Ross Leiser figured it out, and now that it's appeared in a homebrew, that like a really popular homebrew, I think that Wizards of the Coast is going to be pretty reluctant to publish an idea that wasn't theirs. You know what I mean? I don't know, they might reach out to Ross. Like, that'd be sick. God, I can't... Okay. No. Okay, I was thinking because there's like... There's something I could say, but... You guys will find out. Hang on. There's something I could say, but I don't really know what the hype for it would really be because it's D&D related, and I don't think that there's much to gain out of dropping any leak, but I am happy for... I was going to say this. I'm happy for D&D Beyond... No, sorry. I'm happy for the DM's Guild creators Because it sounds like the iron wall, the walled garden rather, of D&D Beyond is starting to come down. I personally don't really plan on playing much D&D 2024, like, at all. But I find it very cool that Wizards of the Coast seems to be trying to make some bridges there. And that it sounds like they recognize that D&D Beyond is a bit of a monopoly on D&D third-party sales at the moment. And they're trying to make it easier for other people to get in on that, rather than continuing to keep it exclusive. I can't say too much, but you guys should hear some pretty cool news, even if you're not playing D&D, because it means a lot for the third-party scene. So, yeah. When it does happen, you will know what I mean by this. That's kind of where I'm at with that. But yeah, I would love to be able to get some of my content over on D&D Beyond, because it would fuel my other projects. But I don't really know that they're going to be... I think that they're going to be kind of tight with what they allow over on the platform. Cryptic, I kind of have to be. It's very cool. I will just say, number one, it's very cool, and it's one of the first times I've been like, okay, WotC is in touch with the community. One of the first times that's really happened for me in a hot second. And, you know, cool, good. I'm glad. Like, yeah. Like, I understand why you have to be secretive, though. It's... Yeah, God, I wish I could say, hey, what's up? You've been asleep, like, this whole time. What are you doing? Yeah, I have to be secretive, but it gives me some hope. Here's what I will say. This gives me some hope that Wizards of the Coast is trying to mend some bridges. Even though I'm not necessarily interested in playing D&D 2024, if they were to ask me in like a month or whatever, like, hey, we really want to add this thing that you made over on the D&D Beyond, yeah, I'd still work with them. What can I say? Okay, here's how I know. Here's how I know what I can say. There is something that I worked on, that I did some work on, that was a DM's Guild thing that will be getting put onto D&D Beyond. That's about all I can say there. It's not something I made, but it makes me excited to see that Wizards of the Coast is looking at adding D&D Beyond content over onto the DM's Guild, because that could mean a lot of revenue going into the pockets of creators who have gone to other spaces and all that other stuff, who have gone on to other games. And yeah, I would like to see that bridge getting rebuilt, because like I don't like having some pinata we all fucking whack with a bat, you know? Like that's not the thing. I prefer to have a lot more people that are like working collaboratively to make more cool things. And I think that more often than not, Wizards of the Coast tends to make moves that they think are like less about this could make the community better, and more about like, yeah, they're a company, so they're always going to be thinking about like, how do we make more revenue off of this thing? But like, it's a sign of good faith that they would be willing to work with creators to open up what they could otherwise just say, this is exclusively for people who are who we have worked with in the past, and nanny boo boo to everybody else, you know. Here you can use quest. The rest of the info trying to get free, but the will is strong. The thing is, it like I don't want to mess something up for somebody else. That's my thing. And yeah, that's the thing. It's like I don't want to mess something up for somebody else. Yeah. Not to change the subject, but I love your opinion. How would you convert the 5e Goliath / Daggerheart Giant to Vagabond ancestry? Maybe combine Orc and Dwarf traits without Dark Sight. I don't know off rip, because I don't remember what either of those mechanics really do off the top of my head. There was I mean, like, hulking, I guess, from the orc makes sense to throw on there. Here we go. That's, yeah. That tells the party where to go. And if here's to slay the turn. I guess, what's the time? There we go. Hulking or BP from orcs out from dwarf, that would be too OP. Asking for a player who wants to try playing it. None of that sounds overpowered. For me, I tend not to think that, like, I try not to think of something as like quote unquote OP, because like, gosh, so many people have their own subjective take on what is or isn't overpowered. To me, something becomes overpowered when it causes an unintended interaction in the game. Something that can infinitely loop is a concern. So like, I try to just remove infinite loops. There might be certain things like just not granting a flat bonus to checks because the math of the game tends to break down, where like that's a concern. But again, we're talking about the game, like we're talking about something mechanical that is not working as it's intended to, right? But whenever something's like, oh, this is too strong, it's like, well, yeah, if you give something like a flat, plus 84 bonus to every damage roll, yeah, that's going to be, that's not healthy for the game. But something that is quote unquote broken or whatever is something that I tend to look at more from a specific a very specific definition of, is this causing the game to function in a way that it is not intended to? There's a really good video on this. Let me try and find it. This is from Dan Felder. No, Dan Felder. No, not Don Felder. Is it The Power of Curiosity? No. No, this is a very specific presentation video. Oh, is this a transcript from that? No. Wait. Maybe. Because I remember there was a really specific quote from this, and it's something Dan Felder said in a talk that I was like, I love it. Yeah, this is. Okay. Here, you want to know a lot about my philosophy here? Alright, so I remember, I don't think that this article is the thing.
Thank you for your time and attention. I can't wait for the pre-orders to come out and for the future Vagabond content you showed off to release. 3.
Hey, thank you so much, Coulter Stanchfield. Hey, thank you. So I kind of get into this here because like game balance is this kind of thing that like everyone has a really, really hard time defining. We know that people talk about this a lot, like, oh, well, this isn't balanced, this isn't balanced. I'm like, okay, well, what do you mean by that? And unless somebody can give me a really specific reason, more often than not, what they mean to say is that there is a broken interaction. And broken would be something that we know, like, we can define that a lot better. Broken is, there is a mechanic that is functioning in a way that is providing probably more or less power than it is intended to, right? In some cases, you could say this would be a bug. Okay, well, maybe that's the case. Like, I think there's kind of an ongoing discussion. I've been watching what they're going to be doing to change Balatro here coming up, because there's a really interesting interaction happening with a specific card that people think is very, very broken right now. And that's Mime. Okay, so Mime does something that... let me see if I can find one in here. Raffles. Oh. Okay, let me see if Raffle has... Let me see here. Okay. Let me see what his last hand he played was and see if he did the swap. Nope, it's probably going to be later on. This is very worth it, I promise, because it's a very interesting aspect of this. Okay, so Mime in Balatro has a certain mechanic. These jokers up here, they all provide a certain power. This is Mime right here, as you can probably tell. So Mime will replay all cards that you have held in hand if they have an in-hand effect. In this case, he's got these steel cards that while you have them in your hand down here, they give you a times 1.5 multiplier to your final score over here. Well, to your mult right here. Now, what people have figured out, if he gets a blue seal on here, this is where this gets to be worth really, really talking about. Because... Whoop. Hey, bud. Oh, I'll see if I can't find it here in a bit. So what you can wind up doing is whenever you play a card, or whenever you play a hand and it scores. Okay. So this is a little tricky bit of how Balatro is designed. So he'll play a hand here in a second. And Mime has a trigger that sets. Okay. Let's see if I can pinpoint it. Okay, he's going to try and do this setup right here with Trance. Trance adds a blue seal to a certain card. Blue seal has an effect that triggers if the card is held in hand whenever the round ends. Is he going to do this? So what he'll probably do is whenever everything reshuffles over in his hand, or sorry, after he plays the hand, he will probably reshuffle some of these, move them around in order to cause a different trigger. So he just played this hand. Now, whenever he plays this, what that means is there's a little trigger that is set. And that means that mime will trigger. The mime trigger is set to go off of what is in his hand right here, right? Not only what is in his hand, but also what is set up here in terms of the Joker order. However, there is another trigger that happens. Right. Okay. Right there. What happens there is after the hand is scored, mime kind of resets its brain. The game kind of resets its brain a little bit. And what it means is if there was another Joker he had up here that would benefit from something better in a way, like he does this Blue Storm, it's Blue Storm and, or Brainstorm and Blueprint? Brainstorm Blueprint. Yeah, there we go. He could duplicate the effect of something else after this card or these things have scored. Now, this is the tricky thing. We don't really know if Local Thunk wants this to function this way. Because what it means is you could get multiple triggers off of something like getting extra consumables, off of your blue seal cards. There could be other Jokers that benefit you after the round if you're able to change the order of the Jokers you have up here after you score, right? So while he's scoring, you might see eventually in the video he'll start quickly reshuffling some of these Jokers. That's a way for him to either manipulate it to get more out of the steel cards or maybe more out of duplicating like certain seals or something like that, right? This is an effect that we are currently trying to figure out. Is that intended to work that way? Because we would think that whenever you play the hand, what you have in your hand should be the final thing that scores at the end of the round. This might sound a little bit confusing. This is one of those things though where it's like whenever you come up and playtest, or like whenever you're playtesting your game, this isn't really a thing that really you had thought to playtest at all until suddenly 1,000 people have your game in hand, and then it's like, oh well, this and this is working this way actually. Kind of like the Chair and Supernova interaction in Hades 2. I'm not super aware of that. I don't really know what... I haven't played Hades 2 quite yet. I know. But this is an interaction that we don't know at this point if this is functioning as intended, right? Until Local Thunk balances the game out, we won't really know. Now, that is fixing what we would consider to be a broken interaction. I also talk about Shudderwalk a lot. Shudderwalk was a fucking broken card. This is probably I keep bringing this one up because it is my definitive, like, I point to this whenever I'm like, you want to know what something that is broken looks like? It is this fucking card right here. There's always questions about like whether or not a certain like card is too strong for a certain game or whatever. This was objectively not only too strong, this actually broke the game. Like, yeah. So what Shudderwalk did in Hearthstone, let's get to the part. Okay. So Shudderwalk, this has an effect on it where it duplicates the battle cry. Yeah. Battle cry. So whenever you play this from your hand, it doesn't affect. Repeat all other battle cries from cards you played this game. Targets chosen randomly. A problem with this is, okay, notice that this is a battle cry. This means if I have a way to scoop this card up and then play it again, it also repeats this battle cry, as well as any other battle cry that one triggered, right? So what people were doing was chaining Shudderwalks. Oh, come on. Come on. Can you show? They were chaining Shudderwalks in order to just There's other cards that Battlecry are things like clone this card, right? Summon a duplicate of this card that do things like drain 3 life from the enemy, that did things like, freeze everything on the board or whatever. And this eventually turns into, and also remember, this is Hearthstone. All these cards have a different animation to them. So yeah, popping off the Battlecry to pop off the Battlecry, right? So this looped. Yeah, Life Drinker, Sharonite, Chain Gain, and the Grumble World Shaker were the 3 you needed. Yep. And there are videos. Here you go. This is why this card had to get nerfed. This broke the game. And this is, for a time, Hearthstone was an objectively broken game. People talk about how pieces of kit are too strong or whatever. This was, you cannot refute this. The game was not meant to work this way. So now he's going to play the Shudderwalk. And watch what happens. Every Battlecry trigger he just did. Next Battlecry happens twice. Reduce the cost of other cards in your hand by 1. Deal 3 damage. Your next Battlecry triggers twice. Return other minions to your hand. They cost 1. Summon a copy of this minion. Now remember, he just did return other minions to your hand. They cost 1. After doing a duplicate, every single one of these fucking Shudderwalks he's about to make are about to make him 4 more Shudderwalks. And then they're going to get returned to his hand. And then he does this again. And then he keeps draining. Look at this. Those all cost 1. And each one of those Shudderwalks is going to do this Battlecry loop again. Yeah, and your opponent can't do anything. They just sit there and wait to die. Yeah, this is obnoxious. The game was not intended to work that way. So they eventually nerfed Shudderwalk. I don't remember. I don't think they outright removed it from the game, but they made it to where it couldn't trigger. If I remember right, it couldn't re-trigger its own Battlecry or something like that, or it couldn't re-trigger Battlecries. I forget exactly how they chose to nerf it, but that is, to me, definitionally, that's broken. They capped the number of Battlecries and sped up the animations. Oh God. I think that barely touches the problem, because that was around the time, if you can't tell, I stopped playing Hearthstone. I currently think that there's also, well, we do know because they banned the card in Magic the Gathering, Vivi. They just banned Vivi because of an interaction with Izzet Cauldron, or with Agatha's Soul Cauldron. Izzet Cauldron's like the name of the deck. This one is, again, the reason why they banned this one. Hang on, set all. There we go. And they're about to have to ban another one from the Avatar set, because I stopped playing because of fucking earthbending. For 0 mana, add X mana in any combination of blue or red, where X is Vivi Ornithir's power. Activate only during your turn and only once each turn. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Vivi Ornithir, and it deals 1 damage to each opponent. Do you guys see the problem? This doesn't... you can just create infinite mana with this. The tricky thing to that is they have another card, Agatha's Soul Cauldron. This was the combo. You may spend any mana as though it were mana of any color to activate abilities of creatures you control. Creatures you control with +1/+1 counters on them, remember Vivi, have all activated abilities of all other creature cards you exile with this card. And what you can do with Agatha's Soul Cauldron is you go and pull a card out of a graveyard. It can be your opponent's or yours. Whenever a creature card is exiled this way, you put a +1/+1 counter on a target creature you control. So whenever you do that with Vivi, it gets all the abilities of all the other creatures you have under here. If you exile Vivi with the fucking Agatha's Soul Cauldron, everything that you have out there on the battlefield, you can tap for however much mana, fucking red or blue mana, they have with power, right? So they have 6 counters, 6+1/+1 counters on them. You can tap them for 6 mana. In Magic the Gathering, that's fucking crazy huge. You are turning a bunch of tokens that you make out there into a bunch of just like, oh, I tapped this 0/1 for fucking 6 mana, and it's ridiculous. It was insane. It got so out of control that this became like the only deck people were playing in like professional Magic the Gathering. Let me see here. They used to show 6 out of the top 8 decks were, 6 out of the top 8 decks in their Pro Tour were, standard, were Vivi Cauldron. It's absurd. It's crazy what it did. Now, this, we can tell there is a state that the game has reached there where there is a broken interaction that's happening. And whenever we say broken here, we mean that the game is unhealthy. We think that these things are doing something that we feel the game should not do, right? Now, that is interesting because it's really hard to define what is balance, but it's easy to define whenever we think that something is imbalanced. And Dan Felder kind of got into that in a talk. I love, but I can't find the YouTube video for this. Hearthstone reaches that state every expansion. The other card I was talking about that's currently got me hating Magic the Gathering right now and not playing it. Fucking, oh my god, get rid of this goddamn Badger Mole. I hate this card so much. I think Earthbending is a busted ass mechanic. And this card is absurd. I think that the way that you have to fix this is that you have to make it to where the tap or the sack lands, like I play this land and then I sacrifice it in order to pull another land. Those should not be able to get earthbent. You should only be able to earthbend basic lands. Any other interaction is fucked up, like absolutely fucked up. When this creature enters Earthbend 1, target land you control becomes a 0/0 creature with haste that's still a land. Put a +1/+1 counter on it. When it dies or is exiled, return it to the battlefield tapped. Whenever you tap a creature for mana, add an additional mana. It's an additional green mana. So what you can do with this is, remember this second sentence, or this second line right here, third line, I guess, it's still a land. This turns all the lands you just put out there into 2 mana lands. Fuck this thing. Green was already ramping so hard. I know that because I love playing the Chocobo Tifa landfall shit. Okay. Green already ramps incredibly hard. This is just, this is busted. At that point, you're able to cheat out like 8-9 mana creatures for nothing. Badger Mole Cub is fucking ridiculous. I already think that Earthbending is kind of busted. If it was just basic lands, it would probably be better off. But it's still crazy. Green mana is Hearthstone Druid. Yeah, I mean, Hearthstone's based off of Magic in a lot of ways. But, so kind of going back into this little talk here, there's a quote he has in here I really, really love. Game balance. What is it? This may surprise you, but the whole industry talks about balancing games. But while the whole industry talks about balancing games, there's surprisingly little consensus on to what that actually means. Debates run wild on forums and article comment threads about whether a specific game is balanced or not. As always, the best definitions are the most useful ones. I found that the most useful definitions of balance are based on what we're trying to avoid: broken gameplay. You know your game is broken the same way you know your printer is broken. It isn't working the way you want it to. If a printer's casing gets cracked but it still prints, it isn't broken. It's just damaged. It's only broken when it stops printing at an acceptable quality. When you're designing a game, you naturally want to create a positive experience for your players. When your gameplay isn't providing that experience, your game is broken. It's that simple. Broken games. Let's imagine adding the following card to my current project, Feria. All you need to know about the game is that it's a strategic card game, much like Magic the Gathering, and that its core resource is called Faeria. Even weak effects still cost at least 1 Faeria to use. Here's the card. All too easy 0 Faeria. Event, you win the game. This card breaks the gameplay for obvious reasons. Like most strategy games, Faeria's fun often comes from its interactive gameplay and meaningful choices. This card kills all of that. When someone draws all too easy, they have no interesting choice about what card to play. This card is always the right answer, draw it, and win. All too easy would completely ruin the interesting deck building environment we want to create. Faeria allows you to build your own decks. Naturally, we want that process to be a fun strategic puzzle. With this card in the game, the deck building process would break down. First, you should always include 3 copies of it in all your decks. This reduces the number of meaningful choices in deck building because you always know what your first 3 cards of your cards are going to be. Furthermore, the only competitive strategies would likely end up being playing as much card draw as possible. This improves your chances of drawing all too easy, therefore before your opponent does. By making a single strategy the obvious choice, deck building becomes far less interesting overall. This is why having a card or strategy that's too powerful can break games. If a single card or even an entire strategy is too powerful, the game breaks down because there's only one correct decision. Now, just saying right there, that's like, I love that idea. I love that he is able to break down this term that people have been like nebulously using. And it's like, well, we haven't been able to really define it because no one's really given us a great definition. So he goes the opposite route and is going, okay, instead of defining what is balanced, let's define what is broken. And like, so if you want to go read that, it's a great article. I have listened to the talk already, but it looks like this is just a transcript from that. You should definitely go check it out if you're into game design at all. That's definitely a thing that, like, Dan Felder's a genius. Like, he's, yeah. I know Trek talks about him all the time over on his channel. Card games are fun because you're actively playing it. For cards that instantly stop or delay the game, or for either party from continuing to play, that's the broken. There's that. And I could say that with, like, in Vagabond, the things that, like, to me in a TTRPG that define, like, what is broken, it's something that causes the game to stop. Where, like, if we have an infinite loop, like action chaining into action into back and forth, that's an infinite loop that breaks the game. So we've literally killed any interaction from happening moving forward, you know. You also want to try and make options that aren't the, like we say, character building being something that is really important to any kind of a TTRPG. You want to not put in an option that says, if you don't use this, you're just not doing the game right, you know. Those are cases of, like, that's what I was really worried about with Sorcerer. I wanted to make sure people weren't just going, well, okay, I want to be a glass cannon and just run in there and, like, never do anything in the game because I just need to blow all my mana to do this one thing here. You know, like, you don't want that to happen either. Yeah. But, it has been 4 hours. Hey, at least we're back to taking up the same amount of time that we used to with streams. So I know I've got to go to the bathroom. Apollo's got to go out. I got to eat. So I'm going to go do all that. Probably go run to the gym. And then just kind of work a bit more on getting more shit out there. So, that all being said, it's great to be back. Be looking forward to more here coming up. And, yeah, everybody, I hope you all had a great holiday season. I'll be back before New Year's. I know I'll be back. Anyways, guys, hope to see you all soon. Thank you to everybody that's been supporting Vagabond. And, I will see you guys here very soon.